All right, welcome to Min to Max 20. Tonight we will be continuing our Through the Frost Trail arc. Thankfully, we have Connor back. He is back. Sadly, he was out. Yeah, he was out sick last week, and so I basically just had him be the default firebolt launcher, which apparently he didn't even have that spell, but now he does. Cannon.
I do, yeah.
He had something better.
Sometimes it pays to miss a session.
And then also we have a very happy birthday for Nathan. So happy birthday to you, homie.
Yeah, happy birthday to
Hell
the
yeah.
Happy birthday to Starlord.
birthday hat.
To the man. Wait, it's your 21st birthday today? Oh shit.
You're 21? What the fuck? Drink a beer right now.
We're all we all
Hey, drink a
down
beer.
to Nathan tonight.
Y'all didn't even know that?
I'm calling out of work. Nathan, you're gonna die.
That's why I was asking if he was going out anywhere. It's not like, I mean, if it's a normal birthday, you know, you're like, whatever.
How old did you guys think I was?
Dude, I thought you were
I thought
already 21.
22.
I thought 22.
Yeah,
I thought you were already
yeah.
21 to be
Well,
completely
I'm also
Nathan,
not your
yeah.
brother, so me thinking you're 22 is a little bit more understandable.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Nah, man.
No,
We're all
no,
equals.
no,
We're
no.
all equals.
I was just, I knew he was 24.
You gotta consume-
consume.
All you gotta do is consume quantity 1 alcohol, and then you'll be good for the rest of your life.
I'll be doing that on Saturday with the people in my unit, whether I like it or
21
not.
21 shots.
21 gun
21
salute.
shots. I'd rather die. I'd
Yeah, don't let
might.
them actually murder you though. That'd be sad.
It's your 21st
Pretty sad.
birthday. Just fucking let it rip. You're muted, Jared?
Evan says happy birthday. Get ready to get confused for a
Hey.
decade. So.
Yeah.
Hey,
Damn,
that's so
bro.
daunting. That's like, oh shit, I'm only halfway through that.
Okay,
Which
I've-
D20 is gonna roll? the
I
best?
have also messed around with some of my settings when it comes to noise, and so hopefully everything's a little bit more proportionate. Because I've checked the last couple of streams, and dude, I was like loud as shit. I like to hear you guys, you have to turn it up, but then I'm loud as fuck, and so like you're just blowing out your eardrums, and so I've hopefully kind of
Sweet.
leveled the playing field here, and hopefully we'll see.
Oh, that is normal day.
But anyway, as long as if everyone's ready to go, I say we jump back into this freaking game we got going here.
It's a freaking game.
This freaking game,
Yes.
boys.
Bracken game.
All right, so let me go and set the schmood with the tunes, the schmoons. Okay. Wait, no, that's not the right. That's not what I want.
Sounds good to me, Doug.
Okay. All right, we all ready?
Yes, sir.
Cool. So, last we left off with our Through the Frost Trail arc. So, as our compatriots, having recently been hired by an individual named Axov, set out on the Frost Trail and hope to make their ways to Snowstone over a little bit over a week venture through the harsh landscapes and through the kind of the dense tundra slash well, I guess it's more of a taiga considering there is like trees and shit. So the dense taiga of the Dire Frost woodlands as you guys made your way through the Frost Trail. So far so good. There have been a couple encounters. Your first night you ended up having to do battle with some wolves in one of the caves in order to have a pleasurable evening. At which point the next day you guys traversed a couple different obstacles, one being what seemed to be like a blockade of sorts, and the second being appeared to be in a Goliath in need as you guys kind of cautiously approached these encounters, but then for the ultimately ended up coming across no danger for the blockade and getting a Goliath companion for the venture forward, as he had initially said that the rest of his clan was apparently held up at the ruins just a little bit farther down the pathway. The next day, which would be the day that you should be arriving towards the ruins, you were making your way, continuing east. Upon hearing something down the path, you all kind of held up, at which point Axoff, using his stealth, moved up and discerned that there was some sort of massive behemoth kind of hardy creature, which Korzak kind of doubled down on and said that, yeah, those are pretty ferocious entities. However, before being able to necessarily develop any sort of plan, our illustrious Dragonborn ended up dropping his entire mess kit and all of his axes that were attached to the sides of his saddles, indicating to the creature down the road that there was something else out there, at which point he proceeded to charge the party. Though at a ranged kind of front, the it did not hold up very well. But as it got closer, and as you guys all kind of stepped in, leaned into this creature, and kind of gave it your 2 cents. Thankfully, it was felled without too big of any issues. Obviously, kind of rinse and repeating from the first combat you guys had. Morello dealing, kind of getting the brunt of the onslaught, but it was felled before anything too drastic could happen. At which point, you all continued on your venture, kind of getting a couple souvenirs from this creature, and then making your way, and eventually finally arriving to the ruins, seeing this kind of a destroyed building behind this worse for wear wall as it kind of sections it off from the rest of the landscape around you. Seeing kind of this elevated kind of battlements, kind of raised up stone structure with a tower kind of off to the left hand side as it kind of continued inward, kind of past your vision. As you guys then veered slightly to the right to kind of navigate around to the front of these ruins, you end up seeing where the alleged Grey Wolf Marauder clan of Goliaths was kind of all lined up in anticipation for your arrival. At which point we ended last session, kind of as you all looked up and down these individuals and kind of got a little bit of an understanding as to what their armaments and kind of attire and kind of standing was. Hold on, let me... At which point we ended last session with the individual in the middle, this larger Goliath with this massive kind of warhammer of sorts, two-handed warhammer that rested about to his shoulder length. He ended up calling out to the group saying, "I am Garmal, Giant Breaker, leader of the Grey Wolf Marauders. It appears that a member of my clan resides amongst your group. Send him over to us so that we might talk in good faith." And that is where we will continue our session tonight. So as this sentence and this kind of directive kind of emits from him and from the other group, as the winds kind of, as you can hear the winds kind of shifting through the trees, as a moment of kind of quiet rests amongst both groups. As the snow kind of continues to lightly fall, the cold still affecting Zahir, sadly, considering that you failed one of your constitution saves. Don't forget that when it going forward with anything. But you all stand there. What would you like to do? If anything. As at this point, you can kind of hear shuffling from behind as you can see that Korzak appears to be making his approach. But if there's anything you'd like to do to hold up anything, then by all means, unless you would just like to let Korzak go.
I'll just let Korzak go.
I agree.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask him if we should stay put.
As he's kind of walking up, you are towards the kind of the back portion of the group. This pathway kind of leading into this clearing up ahead as this Goliath to kind of cut you off as the path like beyond that is kind of opens up. You guys kind of almost what's the word? Staggered in order from like the front being Zahir towards the back being Morello. As he kind of walks up, being kind of towards the middle, you kind of whisper out Sir Denric. He turns back, he's like, "Yeah, I think that would be best. Just let me go over there and talk to him." As he then kind of, with his javelin, kind of steps off to like the kind of deeper portions of snow off to the side of your group, kind of trudging through. And then as he kind of passes here, walking into this this gap between both of the groups, kind of using the javelin as a little bit of a kind of starting out using the javelin as kind of like a little bit of a crutch, but then pulls it out and kind of walks up, standing, about probably 3 or 4 feet from the Garmal. As he then immediately, as he kind of stops for a second, he drops to one knee. As he drops to one knee, kind of having one up, he then uses the javelin, kind of props it up against one of his knees, and then you can see. Let's see. Hold on. I should have read this over once again before tonight. Okay, so yeah, he drops to one knee and kind of like props up his javelin, because obviously he only has one arm. He props up his javelin, and then kind of using a little bit of like his the crook of his arm, he then slices the palm of his hand. And at which point you can see that even just from here, you can see that the blood kind of dripping down and he immediately the javelin kind of shifting off the knee with this movement kind of falls into the snow underneath. And he then at which point lowers his head and holds his good arm up into the air, kind of as like an offering of sorts to Garmal. And you can see Garmal kind of inquisitively kind of shifting to one side and another, kind of looking down. And you can see even from here that he's definitely eyeing the stub that's just he remains kind of cracked and half stone with the petrification that took place. He kind of observes. You can kind of hear him kind of chuckle, snort like briefly. And at which point he then like with his free hand still on his hammer, his other hand, he kind of reaches behind his towards his back. You can see he pulls out what looks to be like a piece of fabric of sorts. It seems to just be like a rectangular kind of long piece of like cloth or fabric. At which point he then places it into Korzak's his outstretched arm. At which point he clasps it, raises him to his feet. And at which point Korzak kind of raises up, and then as he kind of comes back up to full stride, he like slowly raises his head and kind of like still has to look up because Garmal is still taller than the majority of these individuals. He looks up, and they kind of both nod at each other. And you can kind of hear an exchanging of words, much more hushed. Can't really pick up anything. If everyone's going to make a perception check, though, to see if you can discern anything that's being said.
Can I make this with Balder or just myself?
I would say if you wanted to move Balder like forward, I would say that he was kind of perched off to your left in the trees. But if you want to move him up, you can, or if you want to leave him, you can do that as well.
I won't risk it. I won't move.
Okay.
So I'll leave him be, or I'll honestly, I'll leave him in the trees off away from me. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Marilla.
11.
Okay. So Denrick.
13.
Okay.
Whoa.
17.
17, and then last but not
7.
least, Bearden. Okay.
Oh, it was least. It was least.
Oh, it was in fact least. See here, you can kind of make out bits of the conversation, though it's kind of still fragmented. But from what you can discern, it seems to be like just a brief summary of the events that transpired. Just you can hear him talking like Garmal. You can hear him. So what exactly happened? And then it's like a little bit of like kind of murmuring, and then Korzak, well, we were not expecting basilisks of sorts, but, and then there's just kind of this back and forth, kind of recounting these things, and then Garmal at one point you can kind of hear as the winds kind of die down, you can kind of tune in again. Garmal be like, well, how did you find yourself amongst these? You can see him looking over to the group individuals. At which point Korzak, you can just hear this back and forth. You can't really pick up anything as the wind kind of picks back up. At which point, Korzak nods and then kind of pushes past Garmal's right, kind of like as a couple of the Goliaths kind of step back, as Korzak then pushes back and goes deeper beyond into the clearing, past this group of this line of Goliaths. A second or two goes by, and then you can see that Garmal kind of looks back, looks kind of to the rest of his group. And the couple of them are eyeing, kind of looking for direction from him. The archers to the left and the right have not broken eye contact with you. As you can see that they still have their bows and arrows knocked, but obviously not in an aggressive posture, just more like prepared. But they have not broken eye contact. But some of the individuals with battle axes are kind of looking at him, and he kind of looks. I am appreciative, but also confused by the fact that the group of softskins, it appears to be a scaled one, such as yourselves, aided one of my own in returning to his clan. More often than not, when we come into contact with those that dwell amongst the various fortresses that occupy these lands, our interactions typically end in hostility. However, in this case, your group showed generosity and respect, so we shall repay this generosity and respect in kind. Please, he kind of gestures with his kind of like hand that's kind of just been laying like off to the side. He kind of gestures up and kind of ushers you forward. Please come forward so that we may have a proper conversation. He kind of ushers you closer.
I'll walk forward if not. And in Giant, I would. Are they speaking in common or are they speaking in Giant?
They're speaking in common.
Okay, cool. All right, then I'll speak in
I'll
common.
go forward as well.
Yes, there is. Well, in such a harsh landscape and in such a harsh world, a little more kindness could help change the world in a positive direction. And I'm glad that we could have brought him back safely to you.
As you guys kind of, are you all collectively moving forward?
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
keep moving.
Because you guys are kind of in an order. So if Morello was to go, you have to go past the majority of you. So you guys kind of all in tandem.
It's just like pressing on someone else's bumper.
Yeah, you're like go,
driving
go,
in
go, and as you start.
We got my huge
Yelling
arm
from
span
the
and just
back.
drag everyone with me.
I
I'm
like-
leaning on his mount from behind everyone. There needs to be more positivity.
I lay on the horn, bro.
As you guys traverse this 50 feet, and you kind of call this out, Morello, to the group. Garmal's kind of, I mean, you're not wrong. That is definitely an interesting and I would say rare kind of mindset that I do not hear from many of your kind, especially. I mean, it's not very frequently that we see many of you, Dragonborn. As at this point, you guys have kind of all... Now, you can't perfectly line up. Is there anyone that would like to be, like, in the front? Like, you guys can go about two, like, comfortably 2 by 2, unless you guys would like to dismount and kind of line up with them. Kind of creating opposite lines, if you'd like. Or you guys can stay mounted, up to you.
I'll go ahead and dismount.
I'll be in line with whoever's in the front.
You want to stay mounted or dismounted? Okay. You could all fit comfortably
Morello,
dismounted.
are you still...
Yeah, I'll still be up if I could have like gotten my way kind of towards the front to talk to them. I'll stay mounted up talking with them.
Yeah, I'll be in line with Morello.
Okay, so you guys are kind
Still
of
mounted.
yeah, you guys are about like you guys stop about 10 feet away, kind of both mounted. At this point, kind of having the majority of the space in front. But so Denver, you can go and start to dismount. Axov is staying kind of towards the back of the group, not saying much. Virden, you kind of are you gonna stay mounted or dismount?
I'll stay mounted with Axel, probably.
Okay, so then you kind of just dismount. Only individual to do so, Sir Denric. But yeah.
Nerd.
So
It's a sign of peace.
you don't strike me, as he looks across your group, as the kind of normal individuals that prowl these lands during the harsh winters. So, tell me, what brings a group such as yourself into the dire frost woodlands this deep into winter?
Just traveling through to get to the east side of the Dire Frost. I'm here for medical reasons, of course. It's always nice to have someone in such a harsh area that can heal people.
It is true. It is always beneficial to have those that dabble in healing magics, because these lands are harsh and can be very deadly. As he kind of looks around and he almost like sniffs the air, but then he makes back eye contact with you.
The very first night we ran into some not so friendly occupants of the trail. Mighty large wolves. I've never seen any so big in my life.
Are they white? I'm assuming white in nature.
White in nature. They spoke.
Yeah, the winter wolves, they have quite the intelligence on them. We generally see them in the service of giants of sorts, and so they're very cunning. So I'm assuming you haven't. He kind of stops as you continue.
Oh, I was just curious. You mentioned giants. We have not seen any. Are they?
Well,
Common?
when you have a reputation like mine, as he kind of with his free hand kind of like jingles his like large necklace that you has like this cracked kind of as I described last session, cracked kind of portion of humanoid skull, but it's very large. It seems like to be just like a section of what would be like a massive humanoid skull, and it has these kind of like almost they look like they resemble like bony fingers of sorts. of digits of a hand or of a foot of sorts, but they seem to have been complete. All the skin has been rotted off, and they're just bones of just kind of dangling from this necklace. When you have a reputation like mine, the giants don't seem to want to be so keen to coming close to the Grey Wolf lands that we occupy. So, but if you say you're going east, be careful. How far east?
Just through the mountain pass to Snowstone and...
Yeah, that's as much as I figured, seeing as a group like yourself does not typically join marauding bands that live out here, so I assumed you were going to make your venture towards one of the holds of sorts. But once you, I would say be cautious. Once you get to where the Everreach doubles back and jets north, that's where frost giants like to occupy. So, but
well, that is good to know.
I mean, I said I would repay this generosity you've done to my clan. So, as he kind of, at this point, kind of sidesteps and gestures kind of deeper into, like, towards the path, kind of past this group into the larger kind of clearing beyond where you saw Korzak walk into. Shall we, discuss further over a bite to eat or a meal of sorts?
Well, that sounds lovely. Somewhere to rest after running into what was
Ice
it?
render.
Ice render would be very nice. And then I'll dismount and I'll start walking behind him,
Okay.
leading my mount with me.
Okay, sounds good. What is the rest of y'all doing?
How are we
Is there
gonna...
appropriate room to bring our mounts with us somewhere, like to any?
So
Because I'd like to stay just to make sure Calf can get somewhere safe.
yeah, so the clearing it opens up about, I mean, where you guys are standing, they kind of cut off where like the trees actually start to open up into this larger space. And so you can see as you guys have made your kind of way forward, the last little hurdle of the distance from when you initially stopped, you can see that just about probably another 100 or so, 120-ish feet, you can see that they're in this kind of clearing. You can see like between these clusters of trees, there appears to be like another little like kind of small circular opening. And you can kind of see tents kind of propped up and kind of in this kind of half circle. And then even further beyond that, kind of to the left of it, there's another kind of opening kind of cluster of like a circular nature kind of formation where you can see kind of a couple other tents and you can see kind of smoke plumes as they kind of jet into the air and are emitting from fires. You can hear kind of like the crackling of wood and whatnot from this distance off. And it kind of gives you like, I mean, just the best way to describe it is when like you're going through a campsite, it's like you have like the main path where you're going, and then there's obviously kind of like these openings of where there's like kind of more kind of space where you can actually settle up. And so, but you can stay mounted. So Denric, you've already dismounted, kind of walking your ox forward. Axel will stay mounted, and then Zahir, what are you doing?
Is the majority of the group dismounting?
It's literally 50-50.
Yeah, it's you. You're the tiebreaker.
I'm the tiebreaker.
You're the deciding factor.
I'll dismount. I'll dismount.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's go.
I can't fly.
And seeing as the rest of the group's doing so, Axel kind of dismounts as well, as you guys are now kind of all, and the group kind of splits at this point. As you, as Garmal kind of, he backs up, and then as seeing kind of the leader of this group, the leader kind of gesturing you forward, they all kind of disperse and kind of part as you guys now kind of funnel through this group of Goliaths to your left and to your right as you make your way deeper.
Can I speak to one of the Goliaths that seems receptive to converse? Like, from a cursor against like, willing to converse as I go by with Kafkin?
Make an insight check.
Sure.
Just so you can discern who would be willing to conversate.
Yeah, inside. That is unnatural 20. A dirty 20.
An unnatural 20?
Unnatural, arcane, manufactured in a lab 20.
Manufactured in a lab.
Grimy 20.
So as you're making your way kind of through this group as they kind of diverge off to the left hand side, you can see that there is a couple of different individuals. Two of them kind of are like kind of scowling, kind of looking hesitantly and kind of wary of the group. But there is one, as you're passing, this is one of the individuals that kind of had more robe-like furs kind of on, and had this kind of large kind of gnarled kind of knotted stick, kind of quarterstaff of sorts, that had a bunch of different kind of things that dangled off of it, and kind of has this kind of thicker beard. You can see that the hair is kind of pulled back at this point, kind of dreaded towards the back portion of their head, kind of going towards the mid portion of their back. This dark black kind of coarse hair, but they seem. I mean, they don't. They seem kind of receptive. They're not showing anything in regards to distaste. So if you wanted to say something as you're walking forward, you could. Off to the left-hand side of the group.
Sure. I think in a giant, I will say, like, kind of directing it, like, being a little bit quieter, but not, like, trying to be secretive. What I would say to him is, like, excuse me, our mounts have had a long journey. Do you know, is there a place that we can have them rest safely, or is that something we should try to go about ourselves? I don't see you guys having need of these oxens yourselves, so I don't know if you'd have the buildings for it, anything like that.
Is he kind of both hands kind of shifts his hands to his weight towards the quarterstaff itself and goes, "Oh yes, we don't have much for shelter per se, but if you want to go ahead and tie them up next to the camp, I mean, towards where our tents are established, that would probably be the safest point that you could have them occupy to rest." And as you got a little bit closer, you can see that there are portions of the beard and the hair that is a little bit more gray, and it seems to be a little bit more of a weathered individual. You can see like the skin's kind of has some wrinkles and some wear, and you can see it's kind of like a little bit leathery.
Okay. I think seeing him and being aware, at least somewhat, that he's an elder in this race. I'll just say that I appreciate that. Thank you. Then I hope to have time to speak with you later.
No worries. Yes, if you just find me, and I'm more than willing to compensate. He kind of nods.
Sure, that was nothing else.
Let's go.
Well, I'm Vierden. It's a pleasure to meet you.
I am Favior. It's a pleasure.
Favior is an unexpectedly badass name. Okay. Sure. Well, then, with that, I think I'll just give him a nod and continue on with the group.
Sounds good. All right, 1 second. So as you guys are now kind of all, and as the group kind of continues, so here you were, let's see, actually it was Morello, you're kind of leading the way since you kind of are posted up. As you guys kind of approach the last kind of couple feet, and as it opened up in the group, you see that Garmal kind of is now walking in stride with you, Morello, as you guys are now making your way kind of deeper into this area, into this camp. So as you guys, and at this point, as you kind of enter into this clearing, it is much more kind of, it's still densely kind of packed around you as the trees and the forestscape is still severe around this area, it's still dense. However, the pathway opens up to be probably about 40-50 feet across, as you can see, as it continues eastward, farther down the path towards where your destination lies. And then off to the right hand side, like I was describing earlier, you can see where like the trees kind of create this opening to this kind of circular little bit of clearing, and you can see off to the left hand portion of this kind of circle, you can see 6 tents in a half circle, kind of in different portions, kind of creating this half circle. And these tents, they're made up of holy shit, calm. They're made up of like heavy like furs and hides. You can see the exterior of it appears to be of kind of like this thick kind of hide material, but then you can see on top of it, kind of for insulation, you can see like furs and whatnot kind of layered on top of it and kind of tied down or stitched down to kind of insulate the tents themselves. And as you are kind of approaching, getting kind of brought into this space, you can see that there are two kind of roaring fires that appear to have large portions of what like an animal leg kind of roasting through a spit. One on each of the fires, kind of in the middle of this. So like kind of just like show you the space. It's like you guys are coming up, and then the tents are kind of in this kind of half circle right here. Two fires in like kind of like the middle portion of the campground, and then the right hand portion of this kind of cleared out space. As you guys are approaching, you can see that there appear to have been probably tents or something kind of residing along the right hand side of this, but is now cleared for whatever reason. And as you guys are kind of making your way into this space, Garmal kind of looking up at you, only like you're mounted, but he still doesn't have to look very, very high up.
Oh, I'm off my mount.
Oh yeah, that's right. You guys all dismounted. So as he kind of looks over to you downward, yeah.
Person didn't. One person didn't. I'm just solitary.
He did say,
Quirky.
he did say, you guys, your group can go ahead and occupy, as he gestures over to this kind of like disturbed patch of snow, but there doesn't seem to be anything at that moment there. You can go ahead and occupy this space. Sadly. At which point you can kind of see Korzak, over kind of towards like where two of the tents are, kind of towards like the 9 o'clock portion. So think of it like a circle. He's kind of off to the side over here. Kind of you see him like kind of pop out of a tent and kind of just rummaging around. Unfortunately, this is where our scouting party was residing, and unfortunately, as you are probably already aware of, they did not return. So this space can be where you and your group can go ahead and camp down for the evening. So.
Well, thank you. It's very generous of you. Would you happen to have something where I could post up and tie my mount that I have with me? Like a piece of wood, something I could stake into the ground just to tie it to?
I mean, you have plenty of trees around here, don't you? I mean, you can very easily tie your mount to that.
That's a good point. How long have you guys been in the ruins here?
As you are now kind of making the final portion, you're now almost like the back portion of where like one of the closest tents are to this opening, and he kind of turns. He's, why don't you all go ahead and get settled, and we can go ahead and have another discussion over a nice warm meal. As he kind of looks up to the sky, it appears that night is going to be upon us in the next couple of hours. So better to have yourself established, and then we can continue discussion than to be caught at nightfall without any sort of shelter or cover.
That is a good idea. We will get to that. Thank you again for your hospitality.
And thank you for yours. At which point, is you guys now can kind of you guys go ahead and go ahead.
Before I forget, Garmal, excuse me. I believe it was said by Korzak that you might prize the hide of an ice render, and we were unable to make use of it, so the likely decaying body is still, I think, a couple hours back down the trail. So if you wish to get that, you could get that tomorrow or something.
Oh, yes. Ice render, as he kind of at this point, and what I described last session was that he is wearing what appears to be some sort of hide of similar to the ice render's skin that you saw the earlier that day. He kind of like tugs at it. Yes, ice render hide and meat is very it's a staple in our clan. However, I would say with the recent loss of a majority of our group, I think we're going to go ahead and probably keep it tight and tucked for the majority or for the remainder of our time here at the ruins. But if we do see fit, we will go ahead and make our way out there. I appreciate the gesture in which you offer that carcass to us. And what is your name?
My name is Zahir.
It's a pleasure. And then as he kind of looks at the rest of your group, and the rest of you.
Morello.
Kind of nods.
I'm Veerden. Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure.
I'm Sir Denrick.
Are you not, you're heavily armored. It is kind of a foreign thing to see somebody so clad and decked in metal when it's so cold outside.
Fucking decked.
Oh well, where I'm from, it is generally normal for warriors in battle to wear this to protect ourselves. We are not naturally as tough as being such as yourself.
And I was gonna say, where I'm from, those that hide behind armor need to learn how to fight better. But hopefully we do not need to see those skills. And then...
I believe that...
Go ahead.
Alright.
No, you're good. You can say it.
I believe I can fight just fine.
He just kind of chuckles and then turns back, which acts off. I am Exov. I am actually the proprietor of this kind of group that you see before you, and I have actually been the individual to hire these individuals and this party kind of coming together so that we might venture across the Frost Trail and make our way to Snowstone. So it is an absolute pleasure, and it is very fortuitous that we have kind of come to this agreement, and so I'm very happy to see that we have seen eye to eye, at least at this point. This Garmal kind of... Hold on, he's gonna roll. He kind of like for the most of you in Virden, you've got a couple interesting glances, but nothing too crazy. But like he actively is like susses, checks him out, and he's like, for now. So, as I said, feel free to establish yourselves amongst us, and we will go ahead and have a conversation. Let's say at the end of the next hour, if that works for for all of you.
That sounds good to me. As well as while I am here, if you are in need of any medical scenes, treatment for any of your people, feel free to come and get me, and I can go out and help as many people if you need it.
That is a very kind offer. However, our druids are more than capable as well of healing. But say anything needs to be if any slack needs to be lifted, I will call upon you.
I nod to him and I head off to the side to go find a place to tie down Benny. I can't even think of a creative one right
Just
now.
throw any letter of the alphabet.
Lenny, Jenny.
Bro, just throw any letter in front of it and the alphabet, and you've accomplished your task.
Penny.
Any,
My
any
bad.
string of consonants at the front.
Yes.
Slenny.
Slenny? Gbenny?
I don't
I was
love
trying to think of
Slenny.
something for. Yeah, I was trying to think it was Lenny or something.
Okay. But as he kind of at this point, you see he ventures off towards the secondary camp off to the left. So kind of to describe this space. So as you guys entered in, there's the main path that there's that threshold where they stopped you, and the main path kind of opens up to about 50 feet and continues to the east. And then you have the first kind of camp that goes up right here. You see there's the half circle of tents that occupy that space with a couple fires. This is where they've kind of offered you kind of respite. And then as you continue down the path, just another 40-50 feet, there's another kind of clearing off to the left. And there's only a small little cluster of trees that kind of divides the two kind of. So it's almost like a Venn diagram of sorts of just as the two circles kind of come together. And then the trees are kind of in the middle as they kind of rest, kind of butt up against each other. And as Garmal kind of, at this point, you can see him and a couple other, as the group at this point now kind of disperses and kind of shifts, they kind of just kind of start going about their business. You can see that, as you guys were discussing, a couple of the Goliaths made their way over to the spits and are tending to them to make sure that nothing, everything's all good to go there. A couple go back to the other kind of portion of the camp. However, you do see, as you guys are kind of you've already dismounted, but then you guys are kind of unpacking things, getting things set up. You do look around and you can see that there are some kind of sidelong kind of glances towards your group, and you can also see that there is two of the individuals that kind of have that had the bows and kind of the half hoods of the animal kind of heads. You see that two of them are just kind of ever watchful, just kind of skulking around the group, never truly leaving you guys to your own devices. but the time is yours.
I'm gonna cast Unseen Servant to do all the chores that I might be expected to do. And I don't know if we established that we're setting up essential fire for just our group, but I'm gonna have the servant get some of my wood to do that.
He's gonna get some of your wood, huh?
My unseen servant will get some of my wood. Yeah. Like a good first level spell.
There you go.
I'll make sure all my pots and pans don't fall out again when I'm taking apart my sack.
Are they also? Did you get all of them?
Yeah.
I got most of them. I'm pretty sure. You know, I should only be missing like one.
You can borrow my like cast iron pan. It's the only thing I brought.
It was the slotted spoon.
No, dude.
Not the slotted spoon, dude. That's the most beneficial. But as you all at this point kind of get yourself established and are kind of setting up your section of the camp, you do see that where that kind of corner section of wall that you saw initially as you were making your approach into this space. Now you can see where that portion of wall kind of continued forward along the path as you guys are kind of like catching or casting kind of sidelong glances over to this portion. You can see this large kind of over 100 foot, probably close to 200 foot expansive wall, and you can see kind of not centered directly, but kind of offset to the right, kind of down the path a ways. You can see kind of this destroyed archway that leads into this actual compound further. You can see two kind of dilapidated buildings. One was the one that you kind of saw the back portion of, this rectangular kind of building, and then to the right of that, across from it, almost directly, you can see this almost L-shaped building across from it. But then kind of further down past this archway and towards the end of towards kind of like the back portion of this kind of compound, you can see stairs that elevate about 20 plus feet up to this elevated kind of rectangular section of stone. And you already saw one tower, and at this point you can see where these stairs lead. There's another kind of tall, kind of cylindrical tower jetting into the air as well. At which point you see this here, and it is familiar to you.
Okay. So, is it just our group around here?
So I would say that where you guys are kind of occupying, you're still relatively close to where the other tents are. You're probably about 30, 40-ish feet away, but you can talk like hushed if you need to.
I'm not super concerned about it. It's
okay.
Just. Yeah, I don't.
All right, I'm gonna be sitting in my tent. I'll be back in a second.
Sounds good.
Now that he's gone, we can discuss important matters.
He's pitched tent.
I'm gonna address the group and like try and like beckon them a little bit closer so that they don't have to yell.
Okay.
Doug.
Axov with you kind of beckoning over, kind of meanders over inquisitively.
I'll make my way over.
So it wasn't last night. Was it last night, or was it the previous one?
I want to say it was actually.
Was it when you guys went to the secret chat for a while?
Yeah.
I believe it was last night.
No, it was actually this morning.
Okay, that's what I'm.
Yeah. Okay.
The last sleep.
Yeah. So it was.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, it was this morning because we ended that on the session, and then last session was that day. You started in the morning, and then that was the rest of that day, or the continuation of that day. So yeah, it was this morning that it occurred.
So this may change our plans ever so slightly. Axel, how are we? Would you say we're ahead of schedule?
Honestly, with how everything has been going thus far, I mean, we're obviously a little bit behind in the sense of obviously the encounters that we have been having. I mean, we're not like days behind by any means. We're about on schedule. So far, the weather has held up, and we have not gone into anything too precarious where it has set us back for too much time. So honestly, I'd say we're pretty good. Why? What do you?
So I had received a vision of this tower up ahead, and there was a dungeon that descended beneath the earth in it. And there appears to be some sort of artifact, a sword, and I believe that it is maybe not imperative, but very important that we get it.
These visions, you have them often, or is this something new, or
I believe it's the first time I've had one since I've gone this far north.
Yeah, so they're not uncommon to you, but they are kind of far and few between. Yes, this is the first one you've had since being guided kind of in this direction.
Mm-hmm. The last one I had was sending me up in this direction to get to go towards Snowstone in the first place, so it has been a little bit.
Your last vision didn't just bring you north, it brought you towards Snowstone in general.
In that direction, yes.
Right, and then this is the next one after, telling you about this dungeon and the sword beneath.
That is correct, yes.
So
I think Virden. Yeah, no, I fully. Let's fucking
if we
do
can
it.
spare the time, I believe it would be very beneficial to us to get this.
I'm not one to pass up omens when they seem credible, and I don't
Could
see you as
you-
being someone who'd be confused on your own omens. So
Could you describe the sword to me?
Was
Like-
it was like a longsword, right?
Mhm.
As vivid detail as you possibly
if you want, I can describe. I mean, I sent you the photo, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go back and look at that.
Okay, sounds good.
the color of the blade is actually incredibly important.
It really is.
It's purple,
Let me
it's pink,
go back.
bright pink.
not
It's
the
actually the dildo
Where
from
did you
Saints
send
Row
it?
3.
Where did you
Not the one
send
from
it?
Cyberpunk.
No, I sent it to
That
you
one did-
Oh,
personally.
you sent it to me. Oh,
That
okay,
one did
that's
damage.
It did real damage to real people.
Nope, yeah, it's
Kinda,
just
yeah,
right here.
about the game.
It seems to be a darker gray. Well, I didn't get color, did I?
You got that the color kind of came a little bit, and it seems to have been a kind of dark black with white kind of outline and kind of
Yeah.
white trim.
It was a dark blade, almost entirely throughout, with the handle and the handle and the guard being an angel holding up a flame. Flame, right?
So
Holding
it's
up-
not so
holding
it,
up a fl-
so it's not exactly to like this. It's not. It wasn't exactly to that descript. Let me go ahead. Let me pull it up too.
I'm.
I would like to
significantly
approach
more
their
interested
conversation.
Okay, so yeah, the hands kind of came up and kind of like crossed over, and then like a portion of it kind of continued and ventured forth. And I would say, it was kind of a flame of sorts as it kind of warmed up.
and with various runes on it.
Huh. I'm quite interested in this sword. Both in the ancient runes that could be on it and the connections it could have to the gods. But I'm gonna immediately reach into my component pouch, pull out a twig that's forked, and describe the exact same things he was describing to me while casting the locate object spell.
Nice.
It is
Okay.
10 miles below the ground, so you do not.
I would like to.
I just it's written at the side.
I'm gonna go make sure my unseen servant's doing his job for the wage he's earned, and also IRL piss.
Sounds good, man.
So, I would like to approach them, and I see them talking, and I hear them say that, and I say, "Magic swords in these ruins."
More than likely.
Huh.
As we were discussing going down and delving into some dungeons under these ruins if we had the extra time to do so. Zahir got a vision from the skies. Where do your visions come from?
Korzak did mention something about, that maybe Garmal had some sort of task for us, or something we could help him with. You think this would be, related to that?
It could be. I mean, we should
No, continue.
Very good. We should wait until after we sit down with them for dinner to try and figure everything out once we get better knowledge of the current situation.
Is it
I-
Axel's here, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's there.
I made sure.
So I want to. I'll ask him. I guess it wouldn't. Do we before we begin, say all of this, all these say extra tasks here. I don't know if you guys have already went over it. Do we have time for something like this, or do we need to make haste?
Well,
So-
that's.
Kinda did,
I mean,
not
I was
specific.
going to. I was going to say that. I mean, you say this sword will be obviously beneficial to our group. However, I do not necessarily think that this is going to be the case. Only in the sense of, I mean, the most beneficial thing to our group at this point will be making our way to Snowstone and getting out of these damn frosted landscape. However, obviously, if the group consensus is to depart our kind of main quest at this point and descend into these ruins, if we can, then I mean, who am I to deny such a fortuitous pillaging of sorts? Because I mean, it seems like these Goliath. He kind of whispers. It seems like these Goliaths are here for obviously a reason. And considering that you have now brought forth this information of a sword, maybe there's more treasures. As he kind of like smirks and raises an eyebrow. Maybe there's more treasures down there than just this blade. So I mean,
Although they don't seem to be the kind to be relic hunters. Though.
Why not?
I mean,
I don't, because it could be for their own like ancestral things, or maybe something not too different from what just brought Zahir to that conclusion, brought them here. You know, it's they might not be looking at it for profit, but just for the relics themselves.
And when
And
I
with that
talked,
being said,
Based on nothing, I guess.
I will say we shouldn't bring up this sword until it's brought up to us.
when I
I think we
talked
should stay
about
between us.
when I talked about the previous tower that we saw on entering the ruins, I believe it was Korzak. I had said something about staying in there, and he kind of laughed as if it was a dangerous thing to do. So I can't imagine there's doing too much delving into these ruins.
well, that's what I was going to say. Honestly, I mean, obviously ruins like this, as he kind of looks over. A couple of you guys, cast glances as well. Ruins like this have obviously, I have obviously been aware of these ruins, and they've obviously been here for, since I've been here, and nobody has really a whole lot of information into them, and so I wouldn't be surprised if these Goliaths are just curious into trying to unsolve or solve some mysteries of the landscape around them. It also seems that they already sent a scouting party kind of to venture towards. So I don't know if y'all caught that either, but the fact that he mentioned like a sadistic or a mad sorcerer or a mage of some sorts that might have been living
Right.
in a, I don't know. I think that's maybe that they're just on a scouting venture or something. They're just trying to.
When I was
that's-
over,
Go ahead, yeah.
when I was talking with Korzak, you saw through Balder as well. I don't know if you can hear sound through Balder, but
I definitely can, yeah.
he was talking about the Mad Mage in the tower that he might be in somewhere just a little south of where we found him.
Well, what struck me as odd about that, because I did clock that, but it wasn't just south. It was a ways south. Like it was many miles of travel. So it wasn't like the scouting party was to ensure like the safety of the immediate area, or it seems like they were going there for a greater purpose than immediate safety or food, or at least to my knowledge. So whatever this herd or operation that this group of Goliaths has seems to be very purposeful.
It is all quite strange. I do believe that we did help Korzak, but I don't know if that necessarily solidifies our standings with this group. And they appear to be quite the formidable force. So, as an act of diplomacy, I don't see it as a bad idea to offer our help to them.
I think we should offer our help or be open to them asking for it, but there should be conditions. We shouldn't be open to everything.
Yes, we don't need to talk about too much that they don't already know, because it could cause a problem later on if we do want to delve down into the ruins and they don't need us to do anything. I am all for making sure we can help them as much as possible. I would like to make sure that everyone gets out of here safely and healthily, but...
Should we ask them about this mad mage? It could pertain to our journey.
I am indefinitely... I've been holding back on asking about that mad mage, so I'd love to inquire about it. But...
I saw you were talking with a couple of the other villagers on the way. So maybe we could ask around there too.
Are you referring to the conversation I just had with the guy? Or something I did last session, which I was not myself there for?
No,
okay.
He heard you talk to the
Favor.
I was like, I figured if you're not being stealthy, a 15 passive perception is good enough.
No, I was like just speaking, I was just speaking to him, not like projecting us all. So yeah, I wasn't trying to be quiet about it. But no, I got the impression from Favor, not like with any insight check, but just based off description is how I am as saying this as Zahir, or as why am I Zahir? Virden. Why did I change character? Maybe Zahir got this too. This man's crafty. But as Virden, like I got the impression based off description and kind of his stature that he perhaps might have been one of the druids that was mentioned just now by Garmal. So I think speaking with magically inclined people, especially someone who'd be in tune with kind of the nature of the area, would be beneficial just for our own travel forward than of course anything about this mad mage or the ruins we're on top of.
I'm very curious.
Sure they will know.
They
will know much more than the villagers or archives, and those weren't very hopeful.
At this point, Zahir, you do see kind of into the deeper kind of past where you're so kind of showing back where you guys are kind of on this little outskirts, and there are obviously dense wood lines kind of deeper off beyond. As you guys are having this conversation, you're looking around and you kind of hear some shifting beyond deeper kind of into the woods, and you do see one of the Goliath archers at this point kind of etching closer, kind of just casually shifting closer, at which point you can make eye contact with them as they kind of just try to act casual and just kind of lean against one of the trees and just peer in.
I'll wave to him.
They kind of nod and wave back.
I'll light up my pipe.
I don't know why, but I'm imagining these guys as the fucking Navi from Avatar.
Yeah, put meat on their bones and sure.
I got a lot of it.
Yeah, blue.
Take seven of them, slap them together, and you've got
that. Yeah, change everything, and then
and they're fully clothed, and they're not kind of lame, and
give them steroids.
They don't have tails.
A shitload of steroids.
Do they at least got machine guns?
Yeah, take the Navi. Forget that. Watch season 2 of Vox Machina, and then.
Hey, take that. Forget it.
That. Look at a picture of a Goliath. It's that.
Forget that. Watch Narnia. Find some random large creature in that. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, I miss Narnia.
Hold on. We found there might be the witch here. Or it could be a wardrobe in the ruins.
We can make a wardrobe.
Oh, it could be the wicked bitch of the west.
the wicked bitch. Gang.
Oh yeah, okay.
But I think, I will say, as we've been kind of spending time talking here, I've been making sure my all the chores around have been done with the unseen server. All the animals are secured, fire's built. It's helping people with tents and such. He's just running around.
Go ahead and
Go
ahead and mark off one fire out of your wood. Okay, cool. So yeah, as
not a lit fire, just the woods.
Yeah, the wood's kind of set up ready for a fire for sure. As you all kind of are now setting up your tents and kind of, or as your unseen servants kind of tending some of these chores, as you guys are kind of all having this conversation. Unpacking things, but obviously not trying to get too distant. So you guys are so you have to speak up. So But yeah. Is there feedback? Hello? There was for a second.
Whoa.
Okay, but yeah. A majority of that has been set up at this point. It's been about probably 5-10 minutes as you guys have been doing this. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss? I didn't mean to interrupt the flow of conversation, but I did figure that if
we talked about Narnia for a minute.
I was gonna say, yeah.
No, I meant
We left the rails for a while.
I meant with the original with Zahir seeing kind of this individual kind of broke up the conversation. But if that's all you want,
No.
Well, it would have.
I have one more question about the runes. Do you know
Ruins or runes?
runes? I can hard to talk like this. My tongue touches the top of my mouth the entire time.
Oh, yes.
Would I be able to recreate them?
the ruins.
Did you say runes?
The runes. Yeah, the runes.
runes,
The runes.
yes.
The runes.
Oh, on
Give him some
the
runes.
on the
Yeah,
sword.
the runes.
Would I be able to
Runes.
draw those?
What I'm more interested in, Zahir, is if you could tell us if you recognize kind of the religion or language on those runes.
Oh, can I make a religion check? Because
Well, I want to make a religion check. I have proficiency, motherfucker. I will happily try to make, but I need
I'm
something
a
to go
religious
off.
man, dude.
I need something to go off of before I try that.
I would say with like this. Make a history check for me, Zahir.
Yeah, for like runes and stuff. I actually have
That ain't good.
history.
Oh, there
That's
you go.
even worse. That's a 3.
I would say just thinking back to it, you couldn't really make out or discern what the runes were. You just saw that that the blade was etched magnificently. It was very well done. You could see that there was some sort of magical properties upon it, but you could not discern exactly what they said. But I would say, just knowing, just kind of what your backstory is, you would know that just at kind of a cursory glance of it, that there are runes that were in Celestial,
Okay.
like the language.
Yes. Yeah. No, of course I do know that.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Yeah. So I say that the runes were in Celestial, but I don't remember what they said or
And
meant.
if you would like to make a religion check for those that were kind of getting gassed up to do so, you definitely can.
Sure. Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
And you said it was like a angel with the arms kind of coming back together and fire above the head, right?
Would I know like any sort of specifics, like any sort of celestial being? Would it resemble anything?
When
Like,
it was being
Special
like
nature?
shown to you, it didn't seem like it was a specific entity that was like the angel that consisted of the handle and the guard. It just seemed like an angelic figure. It wasn't like a super descript or personification of anything.
Okay.
Can I cast guidance on myself?
I have my roll when you're ready.
If you want to, go ahead. What's up, Virden?
I got a dirty 20 on my religion check for that sword.
Okay.
Oh no! Oh no! There's too much giggling for it to be good.
I would say it's well. So you've with your ventures across the places that you've been, and you've kind of having a wider understanding of knowledge when it comes to these kinds of things. I would say that it doesn't necessarily give you that kind of angels or celestial creatures or warriors or something of sorts. That they typically will have some sort of especially like a high ranking angel can definitely or like a celestial being can have powerful kind of weaponry amongst them, and so it could be potentially a weapon that was maybe on like a high ranking maybe angelic figure of sorts or something along those lines. Now it doesn't necessarily give you any like based on the description that it was given, it doesn't give you any sort of discernment as to like what it could be tied to directly, but you do know that much. Go ahead, Morello. What was yours?
So I got a 1 on my D4, I have a +0 in religion, and I got a 2 total because I was in that one as
Let's
well.
go. Somehow even worse than mine.
Yeah. So
So
you
did
you think you think and you're like and then like as you're thinking you're like dude. And you're starting to realize like you don't know a whole lot. You don't know jack shit about religion, and you're like,
no, dude, I know nothing.
And you're
I
kind
know,
of
I know
like
nothing about anyone else.
insanely
Like a
good
psychopath,
medical
he was
practice.
worried about healing people.
and you're
Yeah.
and you're kind of like inwardly embarrassed a little bit because you're like, I don't know fucking shit. This is anyway.
Oh, you know who else
It's-
doesn't know nothing? Me.
And I just-
So did you mention?
I want to say me taking religion was like the most offhand, I guess I might as well thing as proficiency. Like, yeah, my character can do that, and it's been coming in clutch. So
Dude, I said I don't need religion. I need survival, perception, and medicine, baby. I'm gonna keep people alive, dude.
I only have one of those, and I knew the campaign we were getting into. I wasn't optimal.
So
Hey,
you guys
I failed.
mentioned Celestials. Who did? Was it Zahir
I
or
don't think
Bearden?
I don't think it was no.
I mentioned that the
Zahir
words were
mentioned
celestial.
celestials. Yeah.
Celestial,
I didn't mention
uh,
celestials.
You mentioned the
Zahir
runes
mentioned that the
on
runes-
sword.
Yeah, he mentioned that the
in
rune.
celestial.
Yeah, the runes on the blade were celestial in language.
On this artifact that you saw in your vision.
Yes.
So what? Not too familiar with what exactly a celestial is.
Am I?
What you say and why?
I said, am I?
My
I'm
celestial.
asking you. No, I'm asking you. What would be in possession of such a weapon? Could they be the owners of these runes?
Well, do we know? I can't imagine
Yeah.
we know who created these runes.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. It's like, what are these the ruins of? Because I guess I'll share with everyone. The best I can figure based off the weapon you described, my familiarity with kind of the celestial pantheons, is this is likely the weapon of probably a higher angelic figure. I don't know if it would be like a personal weapon of theirs, but a weapon of them, if that's accurate there, Jared.
Yeah, so yeah, it'd be a personal blade. It could also be like
Oh, shit, fuck. Hey, guys, this this is a lot harder than I thought it was. Hey, this is it accurate to the, because I just know of the D&D 5e handbook. Is this like a solar type thing, or is it a...
yeah, so it would be along the same lines as that, but you wouldn't necessarily know of like what that is, but like
Yeah.
but
I know it's of that level. Of,
I wouldn't say you know that it'd be like there's obviously an echelon of angels, archangels, and the
From, like,
kind of the
Balrog sword to Solar. What do we?
yeah,
I mean,
that's kind of it. So
you-
in my character Virden's worldview,
yes.
what level of thing
Let
would
me-
I call this weapon? Yeah.
You would call it a higher up, high ranking angelic figures weapon. You don't know how high or how low, but it is obviously unique enough to have been bestowed, and they're bestowed. These weapons are bestowed that you would know that. Like the weapons like this are bestowed upon angelic figures usually when they assume a higher position to some degree. They can be granted towards them. So you don't know how high or how low, but you do know that it wasn't just like some random fucking schmuck or some random,
A random schmuck angel. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so this is a weapon of authority, I guess, with the Celestial Pantheon, because of the amount of Celestials within that. It's hard to tell where the rankings are, because mayhaps they're convoluted and hard to track for somebody who wasn't focused on that. But it's gonna be.
He says in
the weapon
proficient
of
religion.
esteem.
He says in proficient religion.
In proficient religion, know enough to know this isn't my area of expertise.
And that
I guess
Proficiently.
Strong.
Before I act all dumb, for your basic setting in like this world, like how common is it to know of, say, angels and demons in this sense?
you would know. It is not unheard of.
I
Like
would
you
know.
you would know. Yeah,
Okay.
it's like you would know that there is obviously realms of the like it is common knowledge, right? It wouldn't just be like I've never heard of an angel or like now it is
Okay.
far less common to have seen these entities and to have interacted directly. That is where it would probably be kind of out of your realm
Yeah.
of understanding, but you know that there is a pantheon in the heavens, and there are obviously demons and devils that reside in the hells and things along those natures. And you know that there is a greater realm and beyond.
Okay.
I'm gonna go back
I
to
don't know where I
my.
was going with that. I don't know where I was going with that. So then that would mean that there would be some sort of celestial being here on this plane.
Oh, I didn't even think about that shit. I didn't even
Or
think.
it
Sorry,
could've
I
been
was so
here at
focused
some
on
point.
where the blade came from. I didn't even think about the consequences of it being here. Hey, gang. The fact that it's here means more likely than not. I'm struggling to think of a plausible reason the blade would be willingly left behind.
This could
So,
have been some sort of vault, maybe.
but why
Could it
would you
also
leave
be-
something in a vault? Here's my worry. This is a ruins that clearly capable Goliaths are fearful of entering to some degree. It was mentioned by his name is the guy, the
Korzak.
Goliath we were traveling with, Korzak. Thank you.
Yeah.
Korzak mentioned that specifically because of magic abilities, at least he mentioned it to me, would be especially useful. My concern is the sword was left there because whatever wielded it died, and whatever killed it was not able to pick it up. That doesn't mean whatever killed it is not still there. Necessarily. That's my worry. That's borderline worst case I can think of.
I mean,
This could have been
So-
just some simple old ruin.
But what we're talking about is a weapon that wouldn't be willingly lost by beings more powerful than we are really able to wrap our minds around.
I could understand that. A weapon such as this, and I'll gesture towards my sword, would not be willingly lost.
Yeah, we're not talking about your sword or even my sword. We're talking about, like, a sword that potentially is more powerful as a magical item than it is as a blade. Like, if we're talking about something that is not entirely quantifiable only because it can be so many things.
could I?
It could be a fantastic sword. It could be something that makes it, I'm not a religious person. I just know of magic items, and this is a thing that could be
What I could do with such a
change the
weapon.
whole trajectory of what I'm doing. Here, for one.
I would like to retcon something. I meant to say that the blade itself is black in construction, but then also has gold trim. That is not white; it's gold.
Oh yeah, there's
That's an
gold
important
filigree.
retcon because now it looks more badass.
I step
Yeah.
off to the side into my tent, sit down, and pray and reach out to my god about the sword.
As I see
you were
him
religious.
exit stage left,
He says, "I'm not a religious man." I go, and then I walk off to my tent.
Yeah, he kind of gets even more embarrassed as you're like, damn, I don't know shit. And then Virden, who's this sketchy, like dark elf looking motherfucker, goes, yeah. So all this lore about fucking religion, you're like, shit. And you go into your tent and you're like, I gotta do some research.
Jesus.
Would you like me to go approach
No.
the Goliaths? I don't want them to think we are plotting or something.
I don't. I think it's not weird for us to be talking amongst ourselves right now. We had a long travel, and I
They seem
think
to be suspicious of us, though.
no, we're weird. Everyone in
You're
town
weird.
thought we were weird for doing this, right? To travel at this time of year.
You're the weird one.
I'll be the epicenter of weirdness, and I'll play it up when we talk with them. But I think we shouldn't leave the conversation of the sword unfinished. I think it's
So-
something that the more I think about it, is probably
be-
important, and I think we should do whatever we can to get it. But also, we don't know what company we're necessarily in.
Wonder if the Mad Mage would have interest in this, or know of such a thing.
Well,
Because the
at this
Goliaths do
point,
seem to be in opposition of them, of it.
true. At this point, all we know of the Mad Mage. Do we have an approximation on the distance we are from that range where the party was attacked? I know numbers were mentioned back when, but I don't remember quite how far it was. Where the scouting party got ambushed.
So you met them. You met Korzak on day 2. So let's see. It would have been about roughly a little bit before, because day 2 you started that. Okay, so I would say it was probably around mile 50 or so into the journey, and he was saying that it was south a ways as to where the trajectory of where they were already headed. So like here's the frost trail. You guys were like at this certain point at 50 miles in, and then you met them, and he was saying that like southwest, kind of towards where like some of like the kind of more singular mountains kind of kind of protrude out of the earth and kind of not attached to the Everreach. He mentioned that is kind of like there was where apparently based on what he said was a mage of sorts that had it's like some fucking asshole or like a mad mage, as you guys are kind of articulating it,
right?
Or someone that has been kind of perverted in his ways, his practitioner.
Perhaps this has nothing to do with the Mad Mage. Perhaps this has a lot to do with him. However, I think this conversation should primarily stay between us. I think it's wise for us to gain information from the Goliaths without offering more than we need to, if that makes sense. I don't want them to feel like we're trying to steal gold out from underneath them. And I'm also aware they might ask us to do something for them that might be in line with our own goals. So I don't know. We're in a weird spot. They could be allies. They could be in opposition of what we're trying to do. Who knows? But I just don't want to offer too much up and get bit for it. You know? What? Anyway.
Yeah, I do believe. Like I mentioned earlier, though, especially with us just being short of allies in these parts, I don't think it would be a bad idea to get on the good side of these Goliaths.
I think we should too.
I'm
don't
willing
want to
to
do
offer
that.
help.
I'm willing to offer help as well, but not at the expense of our own goals. You know what I mean? We also need to be focused on our own survival and our own, let's be frank, profiteering.
Well, I think that honestly, as long as I feel like offering our services to these individuals, because I mean we are greatly outnumbered at this point, so I feel like at least kind of seeing where we stand in regards to what they are going to be potentially ask of us. But I think that as long as we need to just be cognizant as to how much time we're burning here. I think that obviously bedding down at this area, especially with a bunch of other individuals, will be more beneficial than going our full day's travel and then bedding down. I mean, obviously we've already set up our camp, so we're going to lose a couple hours today. But as long as we're not spending days or anything longer than that here, then I think we'll be all right. But I think as soon as we start bleeding into 2 or 3 days, that's obviously going to be a no-go when it comes to us arriving to snow. Every day we stay out here longer is one more day that we have to obviously endure these elements, and our resources will continue to get expelled. So we just need to keep that in mind.
Perhaps part of the help we offer could be included with more resources, food, or wood added to whatever we're doing just to offset time spent here. But I agree, we shouldn't spend. I'm open to spending 2 days if they give us food or wood for a continued journey, but certainly any more than that's too much to be asked.
Well, who knows if one of those might be down within this dungeon.
That's it too. I don't know how much.
I don't
know how well we're gonna be able to keep track of time down there. Just in general, we don't know anything about down there, so.
The Goliaths
We'll
may
see.
know more than us.
I hope they do. Yeah, we'll ideally talk with them, especially if they're gonna ask us to go down there. I sure fucking hope they're gonna tell us what we're walking into. It's the best they can.
I think with that, I'll go ahead and get your religion check kind of wrapped up here, and then I'll say that you guys kind of finish establishing your tent, and we'll kind of continue this onward.
IRL prayer,
yeah.
IRL prayer for your religion check.
Come on, you gotta give me something good. Cause
I'm all out of wheel.
can I cast guidance on myself?
Sure.
It's
Can I
been
guide him?
time of the tent. It's been time of the tent.
Oh, let's go. 17.
Hey, hey.
So this is the only issue with what you're trying to do, and I'm gonna say this from a game mechanical standpoint, is that there are spells where like commune, where you can actually directly ask your deity questions and they can respond, whereas right now all you're doing is sitting there and praying. Not to say it's not effective or beneficial, but I will say that just what I'm about to say obviously will just be tailored to the fact that you are kind of just meditating less than actually expending certain avenues.
More
of
of what I kind of just like a vibe of if there's something religious that has happened in the tower, like not direct questions about it. I'm more just like reaching out to be like, we've been talking about an angel sword, and I do not know much of how they get them, but would it be something terrible in the tower for an angel sword to drop where it was, or would it be something of lost its righteousness and it can no longer hold this?
So you're just trying to get a vibe check? I would say with this
vibe check, because he was talking about maybe there's something here that's more dangerous than whatever was holding the sword before. So I'd like to just kind of get a general just kind of what are we? Where are we? I don't have normal the paladin sense where I could just be like, is there evil around here? So
I would say with the 17, as you kind of sit there and you take a second, you kind of drown out all the exterior noise, like the kind of the conversation that kind of continues outside your tent, and like kind of the noises that you can hear from the Goliaths kind of off in the distance, kind of talking and kind of interacting. You kind of start to zone, kind of all dissipates from your kind of perception. So you kind of sit there and taking in all the information that you've gathered and kind of just seeing, kind of using discernment to see as to how like what the vibe is and the approach that you should have. I would say the biggest thing is caution. Caution comes to you. You're not getting like a pitfall feeling. You're not getting anything where it's like super like we should not do this, but it is, you kind of are getting the sense of like it could be dangerous, need to be cautious, but it could be very beneficial, and it does not seem to be detrimental to, at least at this point in time, at least the feeling you're getting to yourself.
Great, yeah, that's right. That's exactly. I was just trying to get like just a kind of a general vibe check. I wanted to see if it was just like get the out of there right now, like pitfall and just terror. But if it's a little on edge, I mean, I felt a little on edge this entire journey, so I'm gonna continue to do so.
Just so you're aware, Jared, I plan on doing something similar to this when I go to bed, and I'm completely private.
Okay.
No way, me too.
Sounds good.
Oh boy!
But I would say as you get this feeling, you kind of eventually kind of the perception starts to ring back and you can hear the voices. You do hear a loud voice go, "All right." As at this point you guys are now kind of finishing staking. Sir Denrick, you kind of look over as you kind of finish staking in the last kind of portions of your tent up. You guys have at this point kind of dismounted a lot of your gear, put it inside your tents, and got yourself established. The fire at this point, you guys have kind of, you guys can tell me if you started it or not. What is your
fire? I was gonna leave it unlit for now, especially since I believe we're gonna eat with them.
Okay.
I don't want to leave an unattended fire.
Sounds good.
Light it when we go to sleep.
So at this point, as you guys kind of look over, and you can see, kind of standing at the kind of the midpoint between your camp and the other Goliath's camp, you see Garmal kind of with his large hammer still in hand, kind of wielding it to his side, to the which is crazy because you're assuming it's probably incredibly heavy, and he holds like about like 6 inches from the head of it, kind of the large handle kind of jetted into the air behind him, kind of with ease. You don't see that he struggles very much with it as he kind of gestures over to your group. "All right, it seems that you all have established yourselves, and so now I invite you to come feast with us so that we may discuss and potentially come to some sort of potential agreements going forward, seeing as the ruins they have potential mysteries that we would like to unlock. But as he kind of gestures again, and at this point kind of turns around, you can see the large kind of gray cloak kind of flurry, and as he turns back around in like a quick motion, as you guys kind of finish up the last couple of things, and if you will all kind of collectively want to make your way over there, you may do so.
Sure, yeah, I'll make my way over there.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think I'll have Balder as well, of course, be kind of shadowing me.
Okay.
I'll
Like,
leave.
trade a
my
tree as
weapons
best
and
I can,
stuff
but
over.
if we're walking to an open environment, I think knowing that there's probably druids and shit around, I'll probably let Balder just come and like land on my shoulder or something if it's not able to like just rest on treetops or something.
He can, so it's obviously a clearing, so he'd still be like probably 60-ish feet away, like kind of in the trees around, or you can have him
Yeah,
on your
that's fine.
shoulder. It's up to you.
I'll have him in the trees best I can.
Okay. So at this point, kind of the two fires that they kind of have set up. Actually, he gestures for you to follow, and I would say that with location of all of this. Yeah, I would say as he gestures you to follow, he leads you guys back out of the clearing, kind of that you guys entered into the space, and you go a little bit farther down the path, and you kind of go past the clusters of trees that kind of divides both camps, and then you hook a right, and you're now led into where he kind of initially went off to, which you now at this point as you're kind of entering into the secondary kind of little campsite, you can see that there is 5 tents in this kind of outcropping, and you notice that all the tents, there obviously is these like cleared off kind of spaces where there's not a whole lot of vegetation, but a lot of the tents are kind of tucked in between trees still, kind of just to give them a little bit of like natural cover, kind of recessed into the woods. They're not just like planted, plopped down straight into the middle of these openings. And you can see that there's 2 tents to the left and the right as you guys are walking in. You can see that kind of this other space is kind of like this. As you guys are walking in, you can see that there's 2 tents, and a single tent kind of directly in front of you. And this tent all the tents are large because obviously they have to house these large individuals. However, this one is like a good probably 2 feet taller than the rest, like doubled on with hides and layers and just the assortment of items kind of to layer this tent. And it is larger and kind of sits above the rest of the group. And you can see additionally now 2 more fires kind of out front of this kind of clustering of tents. I will have make a perception check for me, Zahir.
Oh boy. How long were we? That would not have been considered a rest, would it?
If you guys, I would say that it was about probably 45 minutes to an hour. He did say you wanted to meet up at the end of the hour. So if you guys want to go ahead and take short rest benefits, you can. If you guys want to use any hit dice or get any features back, that is definitely good to go.
Am I
Thank the Lord, dude.
still have that 1 point of exhaustion then?
A long rest will get rid of your point. Oh, actually, I would say no, only because you weren't directly like warming yourself up around a fire.
Yeah.
But
Right.
Considering they're inviting you to feast, you're kind of like you'll probably be able to sit around one. So to go ahead and do this with disadvantage.
Yeah. Perception, right?
Yeah.
23.
Okay. So with this, Veer, what languages do you all speak?
Celestial, Common, and Druidic.
Okay. Marlo.
Draconic, Giant, and Common.
So Denrick.
Regular guy.
American.
American.
Monolingual.
I'm calling a fucking A10 Warhog.
Veerden, what languages do you know?
Common, Elvish, Dwarven, and Giant.
Okay.
Additionally, just so I know, how many spell slots did I expend in that last session?
You expended 1 first level and 1 second level.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
you did actually make him cast spells.
Neat. I am fully recovered with spells then.
Okay.
Anything? I don't think so.
I would say so. As you're looking around, especially since you also have high passive perception, you kind of catch a glance because you at this point as you're walking as you're walking, yeah. So as you're walking to the secondary kind of campsite area, you actually go past where another kind of cleared area of vegetation is kind of dispersed. At which point you guys are walking kind of almost directly in front of not like when it comes to distance, but kind of like in trajectory where this kind of arched overhang is like kind of raised up and kind of signifies the entrance to like within these ruins. However, portions of it you can see have collapsed, and it's only about like 2/3 of an arch before like the stones have. You can see they're resting kind of in the snow, kind of deep underneath and kind of half buried. However, you kind of noticing this and you looking over, you can see that there is celestial kind of engravings or markings that were along the arch. At which point, I'd say from this distance with a 23, with the translation from celestial to common, the only portion of this because it's a word, and the only portion of this word that you can discern would be vay, V-A-Y. Actually, I would say since it's about 2/3, I'd say Valen. You get V-A-Y-L-I-N. You get Valen, and then it kind of is like broken and you can't get the rest of the word.
Not Arbeit macht frei.
No. But as you kind of notice that as the rest of you now at this point enter into this space, there are kind of a couple other Goliaths kind of resting on the exterior of these fires. You can see that the individual that you kind of briefly talked to there, Virden, Favior, he is also there, kind of standing off to the side. And you can see these large kind of pieces of meat kind of roasting on these spits as Garmal kind of approaches and then kind of calls out to the group. Well, it seems that the meal is ready. Why don't we go ahead and prepare it for our guests? As he kind of gestures to the couple of other Goliaths. At this point, they stand up, kind of pull off like knives and start to kind of cut into it, and kind of start to get portions of this kind of what like it looks like a leg of a beast of some sort. Kind of start chopped off, and you can see that they have like little like pieces of like of like bark kind of like portions, and they acting kind of as plates as they're kind of cutting it off and like slamming it or like plopping it onto these portions of bark that are just of various sizes and kind of proportions as they kind of chopping it off and getting it prepared for you. That kind of takes a bit, but then as Garmal kind of walks around, so the two fires, they're kind of there's like a space between them. Garmal kind of walks around, kind of sitting in front of his like larger tent. He kind of takes a knee in between these two fires. So it's like the fires are here. He's like sitting right across from the fire, and then there's this like large tent kind of behind. And the flames aren't like roaring by any means, so you can still kind of see him from across the flames and across these spits that they have as he kind of posts up. And he actually has this kind of like large stump of sorts that he kind of sits down almost as like a chair. As he sits down, kind of places his hammer into the ground. This is some intense ass music.
I am also playing some intense ass music, so that works out.
Okay.
Yo, my music is just vibing, man.
Oh, it was actually just like it was like oh no no. So it was like getting like super like hyped and intense, and I was like, nothing's going on.
So just to
It was Sabotaged by the Beastie Boys for me, so
So I read Valen. Is that like a full word?
No, it was cut off.
Oh, okay.
But as he sits down,
You hear that?
hear what?
the Beastie Boys, yes, I can.
The me rolling the dice.
No, I didn't hear anything.
Observe.
No, I couldn't hear
Not
shit.
yet.
Oh, ones.
Observe L. But as he sits down, he as you guys all what are you all doing? You're all kind of stand on the opposite side. At which point, a couple of the other Goliaths that you kind of recognize from the other camp, they kind of come over and they're carrying some of these stumps as well. as they kind of are now at this point shifting over some of the what you probably because you saw them as you guys were making up your tent. You saw that they had stumps as well. They kind of are shifting over some of theirs to the other side. They line up 5 stumps for your group.
I'm very good. I'll thank them for bringing those over.
Yeah, one of them was like, no worries, as he kind of makes his way back to the other side.
Yeah, I also think them.
Are we sitting in our own little like fucking corner, pretty much, or our certain part of the fire?
So it's like here's like this here's this this opening or this clearing. So it's like the tents are right here. The 2 fires are kind of like almost like probably 25 feet in front of the tents, and then you guys kind of are backs towards the opening into this clearing, facing them where their tents are and where where Garmal is now sitting across from you. As they're kind of on one side, and now you guys are kind of on. I mean, they're not all one side. They're all kind of like circle around this fire.
Okay.
Yeah, there are no corners on a circle.
At which point, Garmal kind of starts the conversation. So, Korzak tells me that you are quite the diverse group of individuals that have many kind of various skill sets, and so I'm curious as to what each of you can offer when it comes to whether it be a fight or, I guess, just performing tasks.
I'm an excellent juggler.
Make a deception check.
Go.
I'm proficient in performance. I don't know if it's a lie. God damn it. That's a 5.
Well, he rolled a 3.
Hey!
Yeah, let's go. Does he even know what that is?
He kind of chuckles. Huh. I mean, that is all fine and well, but I'm sure you probably have other skills that would allow you to survive such desolate landscapes, such as the area you find yourself currently.
Oh, yes. No, I'm
Does he know what juggling is?
I'm gonna be very focused on the fire and like warming myself up.
Okay.
I think I'll say to him this, like, I can speak for only myself, and I am a decent swordsman. Also, I have some magical ability that's lended itself well to me traveling this far.
All right.
I am a medicine man. We can go around. I can help make sure that anyone's wounds are taken care of right away, as well as I am quite hardy myself, so I can take a few hits so that I don't have to worry about making sure everyone else is doing okay.
That is always very helpful in a fight to have someone that can replenish your, I guess, constitution in a second's notice.
I also have giant runes that do different things that I use.
You have giant runes. He kind of like cocks his head back. Tell me about these ruins.
Well, when I was out exploring near my town in Freysvare, I found a mountain that I believe was home to some hill giants, and I went through and explored with some people, and I found some runes that I figured out how to invoke ancient giant magic. I take a couple steps back. It's easier if I just put my hands together and activate my giant smite and grow to size large.
Do you have any of those?
I do. I have 3 charges of them, and they replenish
Still?
on short rest.
Okay, so as
I
you
only
as
have
you,
used one.
you step back and you, as he kind of like instinctually drops his hand to his hammer, as he kind of eyes you, as you elevate and kind of grow in size. Oh, damn. Interesting. Wow.
Damn!
This is quite impressive. I have not Though I have had many runnings in with giants, I have not come across the runes to be, to bestow upon me any blessings of sorts. Besides, my hammer, but very impressive.
Yes, after spending lots of time in the ruins, jeez, it was so hard, and studying the runes.
Are you having trouble with your accent?
I'm having a lot of trouble with my accent. I started to speak in Giant. I learned how to speak Giant, and I spent a lot of time studying the runes and the magic that they are able to invoke. I put now what is a very large book, because anything that I'm wearing or holding also grows in size with me. So it's just massive book. And this is just little things that I've learned from ancient giant places they used to hold, I guess, as fortresses.
Interesting. Well, I might be curious, maybe if as he looks over, Favor, is that something that might interest you? Favor, sorry. Yes, actually, that is quite interesting to hear. If you do not mind, maybe later on this evening or tonight, or maybe further down tomorrow, perhaps. But maybe we can discuss and see if we can, exchange information, because that is quite unique.
Sure.
I would be more than happy to sit down at some point and exchange information. I'm trying to get as much as I can and figure it out and put in this book.
Kind of nods his head and kind of looks back to Garmal. Yes. Well, I will say you are very unique to be a dragonborn, but then also have the abilities of a giant. That is not something I've seen, and probably won't see again. So.
As he finishes saying that, I believe my time is only a minute, so I just whoop.
You kind of back to normal size.
Yes, it's not a very long attempt.
He now looks over to Zahir.
And I'm staring into the fire.
Yeah.
He's good at it a lot. He's a very magical man.
You're a half elf, right, Nathan? Or no?
The fuck? I'm an Asimar.
Oh, that's right. You're okay. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? That's on me, bro. That's on me.
That's on you, bro.
Can half
So, hold
elves fly?
No, it's human.
Half
It's
elf,
no,
half
it's
elf,
human.
elf.
Human. Okay, no, I got you.
Yeah, so I think it's human passing.
Yeah.
I have very radiant yellow skin.
Yeah.
I
As you're looking into the
think that's what I put
fire.
on my model.
Yeah, as you're looking into the fire, you, Zahir,
I'll perk up.
what are your abilities? Your skin has a very unique coloration, and I find that
Racist, dude.
I mean,
gotta
shit,
be.
bro. He said you gotta.
You gotta be.
You have a
cancel this whole tribe.
You have a unique complexion compared to a lot of the other soft skins that we find from the fortresses in this area. Please enlighten me.
To the best of my knowledge, I was created from the stars, and then placed here to assist with humanity and all those adjacent. So I'm not exactly of this world or related to any of you, but I am very capable, very versatile. I can help in many a situation with healing, amplifying capabilities, and then holding my own within a fight, of course.
This guy thought he'd seen everything, bro. He hadn't met us. He hadn't met the average D&D party.
Interesting. Well,
Seen everything, but what the fuck?
well, maybe your heavenly origin might be beneficial for us. with these gestures, kind of pointing behind you guys to the ruins. Uncovering the secrets of these ruins. You, Metal Man.
Tin Man.
Well, I have not been gifted with such magic as my friends here. I am but a humble knight from south of the Everreach. But I have been training with arms and armor most of my life, and I find that courage and steel can go quite a ways, and that I have no need for magic. Although, I have also never had the chance to use it. I have not experienced much before I have met my friends here. So, if I was to have a choice between magic and non-magic, I would choose magic. I don't know where I was going with that, anyway.
I mean,
And the witch.
I feel like magic and practitioners of the arcane can make things complicated. I find, kind of such as yourself, that it is best to just be simple with life. And I find simplicity in the fact that, there's nothing quite as the rush of just hand-to-hand combat with whatever it might be, whether it's a creature or another man. And so, I do respect you for that. However, I do find your armor and your kind of pompous kind of display kind of obscure. And I find that hopefully you do not get tired, say, if anything was to transpire. But I do respect that you've come this far into the dire frost with that gear. So I think I can respect that. And we'll see how it fares going forward.
I share the same sentiment.
And lastly, as he looks over to Axov, you, Shady One, explain why you said you've hired these individuals. What exactly for? Axov's like, well, I have, obviously, as you all know, I mean, it's no mystery to the fact that these lands get incredibly dangerous in the yeah, okay, motherfucker.
Just the loudest can pop I've ever heard in my fucking life.
Yeah.
Put that right next to his mic.
Yeah. ASMR.
Discord's noise canceling is so good about it. I've never had a mic can actually crack on it.
Yeah, no, yeah, that cracked for sure.
I cracked.
Yeah, cracky. No, I've hired these individuals to escort me across these lands into Snowstone because I have some business dealings with individuals there that I needed to make haste and to get there quickly. And so obviously you have to do what you have to do when time is of the essence. And so thankfully, when I posted my flyers, these very capable individuals came to my side, and we've been venturing forth so far ever since. And hopefully our path continues to be fortuitous and streamlined of sorts, because so far so good. Obviously, I've had run-ins with the local indigenous beasts of sorts, but I would say nothing that we couldn't handle. So, it's interesting. And your skill set is what exactly? Well, I like to stick to the shuttles, and I like to attack from places unseen. He kind of... Oh, interesting. Kind of continues to look at him. I mean, our archers, they do something similar. However, when push comes to shove, they get in the fray just as much as any of us. I'm assuming that is contrary to you and Axos.
I was just gonna speak kind of up for Axov. I was like, Axov hired us so we didn't have to. So far, push hasn't had a need to go to shove. So
I mean, hey, he did sync and add a.
I also wasn't there last session. I also was not there last session.
Alert! Mayday.
I don't know how bad it got.
Axel's like, I mean, obviously,
Yeah,
if I can help it, then I do not have to, and do not have to press myself forward, then I will not do so. I mean, there is no shame in that. And Garmal's like, I mean, there is tons of shame in not standing side by side with your comrades in battle, and not getting up close and personal with those that you wish to slay. But obviously, you are a dynamic group. But he kind of like spits off to the side. Your tactics are cowardice. But let us not let that dampen our meal together.
All right.
Axel's just
Itch. That's great cred.
as Axel's just kind of, you see, just kind of he holds like a steel's face, like he seems unmoved, kind of emotionally with the whole thing, kind of just smirks and then, but. Well, and then at this point, two of the Goliaths kind of stepping off to the side as he like says like let's partake. He kind of Garmal kind of nods over to them, and they kind of hand out these bark plates. No obviously utensils. I mean, if you wanted to bring some over, you could have, but just these like kind of platters of bark of what look to be just like keeping kind of piles of this cooked meat that they've had on the spits as they kind of pass them out in front of you. At which point, Garmal kind of just leans forward, rips off a chunk of it, like directly from the fire, just kind of stuffs his face, kind of. And as you all, well, I mean, are you all partaking?
Yeah, I'll do the same.
Okay. It is excellent. It is excellently cooked, and it tastes. It has a lot of natural flavors, and you can tell that there's probably like a couple spices that are like of the land that are thrown into here. However, it is not like seasoned to the same like caliber of say some of the meats that you had back in Grimtoll, but it is still flavorful. It is still delicious, and it is cooked very well. It's very juicy, but not too undercooked, but not too point towards like gamey. It is melts in your mouth and is very good.
How easy is it to get to the meat?
It's like five-ish feet in front of you.
I mean, like around. Do I have to like reach into the fire, basically?
No, so the fire's not like isn't like roaring. It's kind of low. It's just, yeah, exactly. It was just like cooking it. It wasn't like it's like lighting it. It wasn't like for warmth per se, but it's still very hot. And so you're
Let's see if I can tell what it is.
make a nature check.
God.
Sure.
Oh God. It's
So-
human veal.
It's a person.
Well,
Sure. Int. 18.
18.
God.
You being kind of from northern portions, not here specifically, but kind of tasting it and kind of being of this region, at least kind of more towards the north. It is ox. No, it seems to be it seems to be of caribou.
Yeah.
It seems to be caribou of sorts.
Caribou. Okay.
Yep. So
Okay.
Good soup.
good soup. But as you guys all kind of partake in Garmal, so it was I bet you all are curious as to why exactly a band of Goliaths such as ourselves are, posted up outside of these ancient ruins. Well, I'm sure
Very
Korzak
much so.
has probably alluded to things, maybe here or there. I don't know how tight his lips were on your venture. However,
I tried to ask. He mentioned to wait until we talked to you before he would let us know anything.
Roll
Dang,
deception.
there you go.
interesting.
Wait, I think
That's true. I literally, I was about to say, I questioned.
It's the truth, bro.
Yeah.
Make a persuasion check, actually.
I was gonna say I pulled him into a dark corner in a magic bubble and said, "Now we can talk." And he told me to fuck off. So I'm gonna go ahead and say my man's got pretty tight lips.
That is 19.
Hmm.
Plus 0, 19 on the die.
Thank you for the +0. I was confused.
Of course. Because I have no modifiers in like anything, man. I gotta trust RNG's this with my life.
All right. So with
Even
that,
though-
he nods approvingly. He goes, that is good to know. Well, apparently we have, these ruins have been here for as long as our clan has roamed these lands. But there's never been any word or of, I guess, notable entrance or signs of anyone being able to have actually entered into these ruins. The exterior buildings, they are obviously heavily damaged, and you can go into them with ease. However, both the towers themselves, they remain locked. And anything our druids manage to try to throw at them, it does not seem to want to open. The main tower, as he kind of points over, as you can kind of see, as it's like the elevated portion from where the stairs kind of go up, you see the kind of large tower that goes into the sky at the center of this kind of raised up area. There seems to be some sort of damage to the roof of it. And it appears that whatever caused it seemed to be in an outward fashion, as there are bricks and there are portions of the roof that lay scattered below. However, upon them trying to gain entry, there seems to be some sort of barrier or field blocking it. So, if you want to speak to this, Favior, as Favior's like, yes, it just seems kind of, it's strange. It doesn't repel us necessarily in an abrasive means, but it does ward entry. I have we have me and the other druid part of this expedition, and this group that we have here, Noria. We've both tried various entry points, or means of breaking through, but it does not seem to be possible. And so we've been investigating the exterior buildings. We've been trying to see if there is any sort of indication. There does seem to be a strange statue of sorts that constantly flows water. It's off to the right of the initial pathway up, but investigations of it, we do not seem to be able to discern anything indicating that it is part of a ritual or anything like that. There is inscribing and there is wording on it, but none of us speak the language in which these ruins depicts. Yes.
Favor, you said it constantly flows water, right? Is it always
Yes.
water?
It is always water, yes.
And it's never frozen.
It is not frozen.
I think that should be the first place.
Well,
Investigate
water
further.
doesn't generally freeze.
What? Water
Moving
exclusively freezes on the frost trail.
Well, moving water has a harder time freezing. But anyway,
Well,
A
it's
small amount.
my
like,
understanding is it's been incredibly
rivers can
cold,
freeze.
and we're talking about crossing a frozen lake, like the next theoretical day of travel,
well, that's
or
still
reaching
water.
it.
Well, but
Yeah.
rivers will freeze. At least the banks.
Yeah,
of them.
it doesn't have to be that cold for moving water to freeze over. It doesn't have to be that much more below freezing. My point
Like
is, I am
Dr. Cat.
assuming, based off the description, that this is probably a magically imbued thing. Certainly. So I think it's worth investigating.
And another notable thing as well is that the statue itself, it appears to be of an angelic figure of sorts, and it is an angelic figure that is not holding it's because the water exits into a bowl of sorts, and it is not holding the bowl, but its hands are kind of half dipped into the bowl itself. It is very strange as he kind of looks at the rest of the group, and the couple nod their heads. It is not something that we are particularly keen to understanding, so that is where our Garmal and looks to, as he kind of gestures back to Garmal to kind of take the floor. Yes, it is strange, and I find that strange things can often be solved by strange individuals, especially those that kind of fall into your lap along randomly in such a unique circumstance such as this. So, my proposal is that we can potentially together maybe unlock the secrets of these ruins, and then if we, depending on where they lead, delve into them and maybe split the loot or the rewards that maybe are yielded within.
So I had noticed on our way over here was that there was above the arch for the entrance to these ruins. It was in Celestial. It unfortunately was broken, so I couldn't read the full word above it. But I do believe I might be able to read this text that you have been unable to translate.
As you say Celestial, Favior goes, Celestial? I mean, that would make sense. Garmal's, yes, that is actually really good to hear that you know this language that is inscribed. There are some other portions of the buildings where there are things that are written, but we obviously do not know the language in which it was done so. So, I say, I mean, once we are finished here eating, we have, as he kind of looks over to the west, looks like we have another little bit of sun before it fleets us and night once again takes these lands. So maybe we can all make our way over there and at least get eyes on together tonight, and then maybe investigate further tomorrow.
That seems wise, because... Go ahead. My bad, Sir Dendrick.
Has your clan made many expeditions to these ruins?
We have, we've investigated briefly, but this is the first time that we have, kind of settled, set up shop and have truly taken time to do so.
I think it's worth investigating, at least so we have a better idea of what we might be delving into for tomorrow.
Yes, I would like to investigate the pool the bowl that the water goes into.
We'd be, I believe we'd be willing to lend whatever aid we could.
Excellent. Yes, that is, I was hoping you'd say that. You look like the adventurous type. Obviously, you are, out here. So, I figured that, I'd be tugging at some sort of heartstrings for your, natural seeking of obscure thrills, I should say. Well, I mean, once we're done here, then I say that we can go ahead and make our way over there. Favior, would you like to join us? And, Nona and, Kazagrin, why don't you come with us as well? And then, as at this point, he kind of looks over, kind of in like the vision kind of cluster of trees from both camps. You can see that there was, as he kind of calls attention to it, Zizak. You can see one of the archers was kind of standing there. Why don't you stop being so weird and join us over there at the ruins as well? And he's like, that sounds good, yeah. And the other two are kind of like, yes, it's fine. Favior's like, absolutely, Garmal. Well, and then as you guys are now, unless you have anything else you want to discuss, you guys can kind of finish up your meal and make your way over to the ruins.
I would be.
I'm gonna make my way over.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So as you
Making our way.
as you guys all go ahead and kind of finish your meals, kind of getting your kind of setting your bark plates down on the stumps that they had moved over for you, as at this point as you kind of all gather together, kind of at this kind of at the end of this clearing, kind of where the it kind of opens back up to the main pathway of where the frost trail is. I know that one of you did are any of y'all leaving your weapons? I know someone said
Leaving them?
I know someone mentioned that they left
my weapon originally, but before we go over to the ruins,
Okay.
I'll go back and I'll go.
I was just wondering if you wanted to keep it back or if you wanted to take it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll bring my shield and my helmet and my sword.
Sounds good.
I always have my
Keep that
staff with
shit
me.
on me. I keep that shit on me, dude.
And my sling tied to my belt.
And your
Okay.
I have this. I have my stuff.
I bring my ox with everything I have.
I bring my fucking house.
I
Okay.
take down my tent and I bring it.
So, he said everything comes with. So at this point, as you kind of are exiting this clearing, kind of going back onto where the actual frost trail continues, and they're now kind of all as a collective group kind of made your way over to where this arch kind of overhang resides and kind of leads deeper into this actual space.
The overhang doesn't go over the frost trail, does it?
No, so it's like, so the frost trail kind of could, so kind of to explain this, as you guys kind of jetted over where they originally met you, they let you into this kind of clearing. The path kind of can cut back to the left and continued east, kind of in a relatively straight direction, and then the ruins were off to your left-hand side. So ruins were off to your left-hand side. Both of the circular kind of clearings where the camps were off to the right. And now at this point, you are now facing towards the ruins. So you guys are like standing on the frost trail, but you're looking now into the actual space. And as you guys are a little bit closer, you see that the exterior wall of these ruins, they sit about probably 7 to 8 feet tall. And there's large kind of cracks and holes and portions of them that have fallen out and have kind of over the years have just become I guess incomplete, as the wall no longer sits kind of in its full stature. As you see this 2/3 kind of arch as it kind of goes up and starts to bend over the opening here. I will say go ahead and make another perception check for me, Zahir.
Yeah, would I be able to like piece together any loose bits on the ground?
Yeah, you go ahead and make. If you need to make a perception check to see, or you can make an investigation check off rip if you want to do either or.
I'm doing perception.
Okay.
Would I have removed my disadvantage?
I would say so. Yep.
Okay, so that is a 17.
Alrighty. So as you're looking, as you guys are all kind of go up to the exterior, you're kind of all stopping at the entrance here. You kind of step off to the side and kind of look into the dense snow around, and you kind of are looking around. You have to kind of like, you do see that there are kind of some pieces of stone that look like they would have scrawling. However, they are kind of tucked into the snow, and snow has obviously covered portions of them. So you'd have to actually go in there and reach in and grab them and remove them to be able to piece this together.
Do we?
You can. I'm just letting you know.
No. Well, would I be able to like intuit what the rest of the word might be? Because I currently only have Valen.
Yeah, you would not be able to, only because it's not like an actual like word necessarily in Celestial. It's like a name.
Okay, yeah, I did figure it might have been like a name. I would like to dig around a little bit.
Okay, go ahead and make an investigation check. What do you want to do, Sir Denrick?
I roll a history, or I guess maybe history. I want to see if maybe these walls were destroyed by exterior devices. Like, see, like if it's not necessarily just crumbled, if there's maybe signs of like something destroyed it.
Go ahead and make an insight check.
Insight?
Can I go to the bowl where the like statues with the heads are?
You guys haven't even entered into the space itself, and he was in the and Fravor was saying that it was like actually up on the structure itself, which is still about a couple hundred feet from you.
Okay.
I guess a 5, so I don't know what it is.
5.
Looking at.
Okay. So as you're kind of looking at the walls, the exterior walls, the walls themselves, you're not entirely sure. It could be either or. They could very well have been suffered damage from something, or they could have just been felled from time. You're not entirely. You can't really discern too much.
I guess I'm more just curious.
Go ahead and.
I got a 12 on my investigation.
I would say with a 12, it's not incredibly hard. You do end up. You do find a couple pieces, and it. You find a couple pieces, and it definitely it's kind of piecing it together, but you know there's probably like a little bit more, so you keep digging. And you do eventually pull out the final kind of chunk of stone, and altogether the word would be Valinvor. Be Vaylinvor.
Okay.
But with that, I would say that as you're doing that, Garmal just kind of leads the rest of the group, or whoever wants to go kind of past and goes deeper in. You're still kind of shuffling around trying to figure out and kind of discern, unless anyone else wants to wait with him.
I'm the only one who can translate. Why is he leaving?
I mean,
I'll wait with Zahir.
Yeah, as he's
If he's gonna continue on like without any input, I think I'll follow him just so someone's following him.
well, as well, there's a couple of Goliaths that went with, and as he walks in, he's kind of, as you can see, both these buildings, and you can see now as you guys are stepping in through this archway into this actual space, you can see that there is the rectangular building that you kind of saw earlier. To the left, it stands about probably 15 to 20 feet tall or so, heavily damaged. You can see that the front of it has oh yeah.
Does it appear to be by siege weapons?
You can see that it has suffered heavy damage. You can see that the roof, like large portions of the roof, as you guys are kind of making your way along this path. There is a notable piece here, is that as you guys are walking underneath the arch and start to walk actually into the space, you notice that the path itself leading up to the stairs is completely clear. So there's stone, kind of a stone walkway that leads from the archway to the actual stairs, and it's about 20 feet wide as it continues up to the stairs. And as it reaches the stairs are about 20 feet wide as well, and they go up about 20-ish or so feet, kind of going up towards the actual higher portion of these ruins. But as you're looking at this left-hand building, you see that there appeared to be at one point like an offset door, not directly in the middle of the structure, but kind of towards the left-hand portion of the wall. However, that door is no longer existent, as there's a large chunk taken out of the front of this. And as you guys kind of make your way, that one's a little bit farther on, like down the path to the left, and on the right-hand side there is another structure, kind of what you saw a little bit off, kind of back down the when you guys were outside, kind of coming into this space. It's kind of in like the shape of an L, and you can see that there does seem to be one door still remaining, and it seems to be made of like some sort of metal. However, the front of this one also significantly damaged. As you can see, parts of the roof has collapsed in. You can see that from where you're standing, the L kind of goes in, and then it cuts to the left, going kind of closer towards the larger structure, and you can just see large chunks of the building itself, with the walls kind of taken out. And both these buildings seem heavily in disarray. You can see large kind of piles of debris on the exterior, and even just from the glances from where you guys are. Actually, everyone make perception checks.
Am I with them yet?
I would say you're still kind of fumbling around. And this was like, you were like looking at it, and then as you were looking, but then also as you were kind of digging around, they kind of stopped. You kind of did your thing, but then they kind of approached. So you're at this point, you're like pulling out the final rock.
Can I perceive with Balder, with the vision?
If you would like to.
Yeah, I just want to ask before I just do. Well, Balder got an at 20.
Oh shit, son! Nice.
That 5 went to a 20, boy.
13 for Morello.
13, and then Sir Denrick.
I'm with Zahir.
Oh, that's right.
I'm just standing there.
Okay, so you guys are on the exterior portion of the wall still. As you guys are both looking, natural 20, Balder's kind of flying up, kind of elevated into space. And you can see that, there's large kind of rubble piles within these buildings, obviously kind of covered in snow. Snow does seem to have filled these portions pretty heavily, but you can also see kind of like raised up portions of what would be like pillars of some sorts that have fallen from within the structures. And this rectangular building, from with kind of your elevated position, you see that it's rectangular pretty much entirely in construction, except towards the back right portion of it. There's a little bit of like a nook that kind of jets out and then kind of cuts it off. So it's almost a full rectangle, but it kind of has like a little bit of like an etched out portion towards the back of it. And then similar for the right hand building, that's the L. As you can't really discern anything of like notable intrigue. A lot of the interior of it is just laden in snow, piled high with ruin or with rubble, and with just destroyed pieces of what once held this building together. At which point, you would say you kind of pull out the final kind of last bits of pieces. You discover the name or title of this place as you kind of stand up Zahir with Sir Denrick.
Mm-hmm.
What have you discovered?
So the rest of the arch says, in total it says Valenvor, which seems to be a name, but I'm not quite familiar with who that is.
Interesting.
Likely the name of this city, civilization, location, but that's all I can give
Okay.
you.
Well, that may be useful. Do you want to proceed in?
Yes, let's catch up with the rest of them.
Okay. So as you guys kind of catch up at this point, Garmal, as you guys are kind of slow walking forward to where these to where this pathway inevitably leads to these steps, I will actually go ahead and change the music
Pull up the
to
battle map.
pull out combat.
Hey, yo, let's do it. I'm ready.
Listen, whatever music you're changing it to, it won't be as badass as my music.
What are you listening to?
Probably not. I'm
T
switching.
Swift.
I'm switching.
Hell.
I'm switching it to like ominous music.
Oh wait, me too.
But as you guys are all kind of walking into this further into these ruins, Garmal kind of, as you're observing, looking, you kind of through Baldur's eyes, you kind of instinctually just keep walking forward slowly. Garmal kind of with these extra Goliaths kind of scattered amongst the group. You can see the druid that you've come to find kind of remains relatively close to Garmal, but the other ones kind of just have their axes at the ready. Bow at the ready, and just kind of are just looking around as well. But Garmal is, we have scoured the buildings themselves, and they don't seem to yield anything. I mean, of notable worth. There's obviously some bits and pieces of long forgotten, probably internal structures or internal kind of portions of the building. But from what we've looked and what we've seen, there doesn't seem to be anything of notable worth. Probably was picked clean long ago, if there was anything. But I mean, you're more than free to go and investigate for yourselves. But I think the real treasure is going to be lying up ahead.
I'm gonna make my way over and try to investigate that nook you were describing, that kind of outcrop from the rectangular building.
Yeah, so it was
Make my way over.
it was attached to the actual building. Still, it wasn't
Yeah.
it wasn't offset. But yeah, you're good.
Just kind of just seeing an irregularity. That's pretty much. I just want to go and investigate what that maybe might have been while it was still a part of an existing structure.
Do you want to go in? So you can see that there are like kind of 5 foot kind of pathways that lead to each building, which are also clear of snow, and then both of them, for the kind of L-shaped structure, there's about like there's a okay, sorry, hold on. So the L-shaped structure, there's a pathway that's 10 feet wide, and it kind of goes up to a set of stairs that then enter into this building. And then on the rectangular one, that's with the one that you want to investigate, there is a 5 foot wide path that leads to a set of kind of stairs that then lead into the building itself. Are you wanting to go to the path through, or you want to circle around, or how are you wanting to approach it?
I'll go to the path through, but then I'm gonna step out for 1 second. So if you can do someone else while I contemplate taking that path through, I'll be right back.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So as Virden kind of steps off to the side and starts to kind of make his way kind of towards the left-hand building, what is the rest of you guys doing?
I'm just hanging around everyone, just
Okay.
make sure nothing's happening to anyone.
Garmal kind of calls out to Yuzi here as you are kind of catching up. You find anything of worth out there? Because we saw the inscription, but we never obviously could make out what it meant or said.
What might have been the name of this location? That being Valenvor. That's all I got for you, though.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense considering it was on the archway entering. It probably was a name of sorts or something along those lines. Well, I say we go ahead and continue forward. And then he's like, hurry up now.
I'll make my way up to him.
Yeah, he kind of like, hurry up now, as you kind of half run and make your way. As you guys are as you are continue to approach this these stairs that elevate high up into this. Yeah, and it's a significant kind of steep stairwell that goes up, and it's about 20 foot wide, so it's fairly large, and you can see almost constructed. It's in construction. It looks like there's supports for the overall kind of raised structure, but you can see these like half arches that jet out from the base of the structure that kind of they come out and they kind of half arch and they plant themselves into the ground. And as you're making your way, not the tower itself. So as you guys, so the stairs kind of go up and there's a rectangular kind of raised structure and the tower is in the middle. I'm talking about kind of out of the ground at the base level. There's these half arches that come up out of the ground and they like connect towards the actual structure themselves. And
buttresses.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Flying buttresses.
But and they, like from either direction, you see that they surround the base of this kind of all along it. Virden, as the rest of the group kind of continues on, you start to make your way, kind of stepping up into the actual structure itself. If that is what you'd like to do.
Yeah, I'd like to make my way over there. Just kind of peek at it.
Okay. I would say that as you kind of step into the structure, go ahead and make an investigation check or a perception check. Go ahead and make a perception check.
Perception, okay.
Yeah, unless you want to start just immediately rummaging around.
I've made a mistake trying to do that myself. That's going to be a crispy 7.
7. So as you like kind of stepped up off onto these stairs and kind of go into this large, I mean, there's no longer a doorway. It's like a fat ass hole that's blasted through the front of this building. So you're just kind of like stepping through. You can see that the ground level, the floor of this space, is made up. The construction of it is wood, but you can see there's large kind of portions of it splintered in and busted, and obviously have seen better days. However, where you're kind of walking off the left-hand side, there is still a portion of the roof that's still intact. There's
Sorry, I was muted. Go ahead.
Oh, you're good. There is still a portion of the roof that's still intact, and you can see that kind of scattered throughout this space. There are still kind of a couple portions of the roof that kind of deflects the snow, so it's not completely laden in snow, but the large central portion of this, the roof has caved in. You see large piles of debris and snow as you're kind of making your way in. However, as you're looking around, even with the 7, you can see that kind of at like a kind of left-hand side, kind of deeper in at like a 45-degree-ish angle from where you're standing, you can see where the wall kind of connects and recesses back into this nook that's kind of far across the interior portion of this building.
Okay.
There's still wood, though. How ancient can it be? It wouldn't be like thousands of years, right?
Magical wood.
I mean, wood can survive a decent amount of time. It obviously is pretty fucking pretty rotted and pretty.
It's exposed pretty well.
Well, does this place like melt in the summer, or is it still pretty cold?
No, I mean, from what you've heard, it does melt in the summer, like it's for at least a little bit. However, as you all reach the base of these stairs, as you kind of see here at the front of this with Garmal, you and Favior, you guys are all kind of stepping up, and you all kind of ascending these stairs. You kind of hear something. You, with your passive perception, you hear what sounds to be what almost seems to be like, I guess, like water kind of evaporating, or mist of sorts, kind of. And you kind of like what is that? As you look back, you can see down these steps into this left-hand portion where there's kind of just like mounds of snow and not really anything occupying this space. All of a sudden, you can see that there's this large section of snow that is, for some reason, beginning to just evaporate, and just as this large portion of steam starts to kind of and emit into the air. As at which point you kind of look back and you're observing this. You look over to Garmal, and Garmal's like, "Oh, motherfucker." Virden, you kind of are observing into this space. You kind of hear similarly at which point you look out and towards like the kind of front portion of your building, you can see steam starting to emit off the ground. And as Garmal's like,
Oh shit!
all right,
Is it like a centralized spot, or is it just like
it's like a
this
central.
bitch is steaming?
No, not like everything. It seems like a centralized location of steam just kind of starting to emit and raise from the ground. As you look back, as Garmal goes, well, this is not the most fortunate circumstances, but it looks like, lads, we have Remoraz afoot. As he at this point kind of like throws up his hammer and starts to descend down the stairs. At which point you see Fedor kind of grab this quarterstaff in both of his hands. All of the couple of Goliaths that carried brandished their battle axes that were with you kind of get ready, post up. And then the ranged individual also kind of knocks an arrow, kind of pointing out. Viren, you're like in this building, kind of like you hear him call that out, and you're like, shit. And then you get yourself ready. What are y'all doing?
If I could get myself ready, first thing I'm doing is casting 4th level Fire Shield.
Okay.
The frost ability on.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, first things first, I'm the realist.
So as you
Make myself big and bounding towards where this thing is.
okay, so
May I cast protection from energy and it be fire damage on Morello?
yes, you certainly can. So as you kind of all like veered and you kind of pull open your book and kind of articulate this incantation as this fire kind of emits from around your body. At which point you usually hear you kind of tap into your you kind of take a second, kind of look down, you kind of channel into the constellations, and you kind of with your hands create this constellation of almost like this since you want it to be fire.
Yes.
Well, I was gonna
Blazing
say
flame.
it's like a blazing flame, but almost has like a ward around it of sorts. And as you kind of create it, and then you press it onto him.
Do for me.
You're resistant to fire damage.
What if I'm already resistant to fire damage?
And fuck, I just wasted this
Does not stack.
Put it on me. Yay.
But you do not know that, considering you've already cast the spell. At which point, as Garmal kind of has like lands at the base of these steps, kind of, all right. At which point, from the ground, from both of these locations, bursting out of the snow in like a flurry of mist and kind of chunks of dirt and just landscape around you, you see these massive. Let me go ahead and pull up a photo real quick, and I'll send it to you in a second. But you see these massive insectoid creatures with this. They come at the very front of it as the head kind of comes out. It kind of moves around, and it's centipede-like. As it comes out, you can see this large centipede body as it has hundreds of legs jutting off the sides of its body as it fans out towards the front and comes to these almost like large folds. As these folds kind of come to an end on its head, the head then continues down into these large kind of antennae come out to the sides and down in these large kind of like protrusions down the side of the mouth. You see these large kind of black beady eyes and this razor sharp kind of like fanged kind of maw at the end of it. Let me go ahead and send it into the chat, and then I'll go ahead and let you guys, and I'll pull it up in the stream.
They burst from like the ground.
They burst from underneath the ground, correct? Yes.
Remember when we were hiking this week, Nathan, and I said it's not a matter of if, but when we fight one of these things? I called it.
Let me go ahead and get the stream so that I can go ahead and show.
I will
What the
say,
hell?
like, out of character when like they were describing like in town where it's like, yeah, there's gonna be wolves and shit. There's gonna be Goliaths. There's gonna be ice giants. Oh, there's gonna be fire fucking insects about the size of a sedan. There's gonna be. It's like, no. Go back to that thing.
Wait a second.
Wait, what?
I imagine it as like a fucking beetle, dude.
No,
Really funny.
no,
'Cause I
it's
think-
that monstrosity.
Yeah. Oh god.
I picked the opposite
that's
color
She's
of
kinda
frost
cute,
resistant.
though.
Oh.
Connor
in
wants
order-
to.
So
I used to
with
play Bard, man. You can't blame me.
So with that, we do have a decision to make though, because we can either jump into combat at it's already 9:38 for me, and this combat will be fairly extensive, because not only as you guys are all preparing for this, and you see this massive, large centipede-like creature burst forth and just make eye contact with your group and kind of just rears up. You see in front of your building, Vierden, as you kind of are like making your way back, you see the large one kind of bursting forth, but then kind of in front of your building, and as the snow and the mist kind of obscures your vision, and as it kind of starts to clear, you see a similar creature. However, it is smaller. It is not as large as the one kind of across from you. However, as you guys are all taking a second, as they both kind of rear, you do hear outside of the ruins itself. You hear commotion of, oh shit, you hear like yelling, oh, grab your weapons, as you hear outside of the space of the ruins itself. Also, you hear these large kind of resounding kind of crashes as you hear these two additional kind of bursting forth creatures. Probably you would assume to be similar in nature. However, I will say, before we want to call it or not, I will say we should all jump into the Tailspire just so I can kind of show you this, show you everything.
I would like to check out Tailspire, but I'm gonna say I want to spend time doing this.
So I agree.
I want to mentally strategize.
I agree, because also I have like 50 NPCs I want to play, and so this combat will probably take a hot minute. And so
you need to wait for the Adderall prescription to arrive, and then we're ready to go.
Pretty much, essentially, yes. Let me go ahead and get us kind of kicked over to the. Oh, that's the wrong one.
Strong enough to be able to focus on 50 NPCs? Nah.
Where is it?
Oh, at least we have friends.
Yeah,
For now, dude.
See?
No, Todd, we don't have friends, we have fodder.
Yeah, meat shield.
We're playing different characters.
Okay.
We have people that I'd like not to die if possible.
Is it us?
I mean, yes.
Is it still going to be through the Frost Trail as the,
Yeah, it should be.
Oh,
Gonna
I
be
used
through the
Tailspire, right?
gaping
Weirdo.
hole.
Okay, let me go
Not
ahead.
a bunch of new
Yes.
campaigns for each individual board.
Shut the fuck up. I just figured it out.
Hey man, all good. Okay, so
Ooh, it's blindingly white. There we go. The trees have showed up.
also I really wanted to show you this battle map because it also gives a lot of description as to what exactly everything looks like, because I actually fleshed out literally everything in its entirety, and so now you can kind of peruse and see.
Look,
Is
look,
someone
no
able to share
bullshit,
this?
no meta, but when you're like, hey, the building is exactly this rectangular with this much coming off it, the paths go this way, this way, this way, like, there's a small part of the back of my mind that goes, alright, this motherfucker's at least drawn this.
I was about to say,
Like,
there's some
just saying,
sketchbook
we're-
somewhere.
We're not walking up to like some Humpty Dumpty fucking like this. This is a situation.
Yeah, I mean, I like to
At
draw.
least an investigation type situation, not necessarily cop, but like I know it's significant. I didn't expect it to have fully rendered braziers, you know, but
Is someone able to share this?
I know if you go live, it
if
will.
you go-
I know.
If I remember, the best solution was Todd. You watch the stream.
Yeah, because
I
if
remember.
if you stream your thing, it'll like cut out all the visuals of or all the cameras.
Eviscerate the
I
cameras.
don't even know how to do that.
Watch the stream.
Twitch.
How do you-
TV /min_2_max1
/
Yeah. Also, hey, like and subscribe. I mean, follow. Anyway, two and 5, 2511.
min to max. Min to underscore
2511.
max.
25.
Yeah, I think I've actually seen.
2511.
Oh, okay. Oh, fancy.
2 5 1 1. Okay.
It's weird. I can see myself.
Yeah, keep Discord. I out of habit look over at Discord even though I have the stream up on my main monitor. So I'll be like,
Well, I have to check Discord every once in a while to figure out how fucking weird I look.
yeah, you see if I'm just
I
like,
just look over. I'm just like, dude.
Bro, I'm constantly staring at myself.
I mean, I do that too, but then I stream.
Okay, so if y'all want to go ahead and move your figurines over, you definitely can. Over to where...
I don't believe I have permissions.
Oh, yeah! Okay, hold on. Let me go ahead and get player permissions. Oh,
Also,
that's...
I'd be like right next to the door. If that's where we were.
Player permissions. I need to give... Grillmaster is you, Nathan, right? Okay, there's yours
Yeah.
here. Axoff is... Todd is no...
Shacks off, am I right?
Did we get right up to the door?
No, you guys, like, you and Garmal were kind of, like, getting towards the tops of the steps before it happened. Like, you guys were coming. So I would say before Garmal was like, let's fucking kill and jumped off, you guys were, like, right here. So I would say if you didn't move, you would probably be about right there.
This is blowing my brain up.
Figure.
Oh, also, when you give me permissions, can you make me one size larger too?
Yes, I can, because... Did you enlarge? I thought you didn't do that yet.
No, I did. I enlarged and started running down the stairs.
You kind of didn't necessarily give us a surprise round, but I think we all used our surprise round to ready the fuck up.
Yeah, you're over there now, Morello. You're kind of...
Dude, the thing is, I'm now realizing I spread myself out so fucking far from everybody else.
I was like, you want to go investigate? Okay.
Yeah, bro, you got a sick setup in the chat, dude.
Why don't you crawl in a really small hole in there and just reach your hand in real deep?
Oh, hey, what's up, Scotty? Yeah, bro. Hey, this battle map took me forever, but I was like, dude, this shit's so lit.
That's nice looking.
Here, let me go ahead and give you an overview for everyone in the...
One of my favorite... Yeah, go ahead and give them an overview. But one of my favorite things about just you and I bullshitting, Jared, is like the couple times where you've just been both making maps on Tailspire. Because we do so many different things with it, it just...
Where's the invite, man?
sick,
When I'm
man.
making maps on Unity, I would love the invite to the chill session, bro.
Well,
Come on.
we vibing. We vibing.
Schedule map making sessions, you know? We'll have to schedule those.
Dude,
Yeah,
I'm just sitting there looking at the 5,000 trees I'm rendering properly. I'm
I
like,
will say making maps in Tailspire is probably a little bit easier than in Unity, but
Hey, I will say, shout out to Tailspire. Because, not sponsored, but fuck, I love them. And I honestly,
Tailspire
the shit you can do is so
honestly,
dope.
the best fucking power move I've seen is Tailspire and Hero Forge just
Oh,
fully embracing each
yes.
other.
Yes. Also, I haven't given you permission for your character. Sorry, 1 second.
I've noticed and I'm
bro.
crying.
You're getting called out, dude.
Yankee and the Brave?
Where was...
Hey, yes, that's me, sir.
I would say...
Go and move me where I'm at.
Yeah, I would say you like stepped in.
Oh, I'm not nearly as far as I thought it was.
You stepped in like right here to kind of investigate, and then you like were like, oh shit, what the fuck? And then you kind of started moving back, and then that shit was like, and just fucking burst out, and you're like, oh, yep.
I thought he was taking the
totally
L.
fun to me. Do you mind if I
in
put
that
the
other
torch
building.
effect on my character?
Yeah, that's fine.
Just so I can, because for my fire. I'm
cast
using the
daylight.
ice version of the fire shield, but just so I have that active.
Okay.
That's daylight when it turns night.
And then I need to get Axov over there. Honestly, Scott, I literally I didn't have this in Alaska, so that's why I didn't use it.
Look,
Just you were doing in
Scott,
person,
he did you guys dirty. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
you know
no
what?
other
That's
way
on
around
me.
it.
That's
There's
on
no
me.
way
He was
around
holding
it.
out. He was holding off.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
He had this in
Axoff
his
was
back pocket, and he
This is
just thought
unforgivable.
Later.
Axoff was kind of backed up right here. I will go ahead and position the rest of
Fucking
these.
caked up over there, dude. Let's look at him.
and then I'm trying to find a place where I can set myself so I'm not crushing anyone when I become bigger. So if you need to move me, move me.
That is the realest shit I've
Let's
ever heard.
see. GM tools.
Those the oxes?
Holy shit.
My God, dude.
Size large ain't small. Like, let's.
Yeah, this man's like, I'm about to beef this shit.
Dude, he's like, I want to wrestle it.
So,
I forgot I thought every time you drop me when I'm size large.
Also, let's take note. In the description, do you see the large one come forward, and then veer? Didn't you see that kind of a smaller one burst forward? By smaller one, he meant size large.
Yeah, this is size giant.
which-
And honestly, I will say, like, this creature is massive, but it's like off-putting because it's also coiled in on of itself because it's a centipede. So like if it was to be fully spread out, it would be long as shit. Like the presence of it would be crazy, but it's like kind of coiled in on itself, and so you're like, damn.
I think
Did
even
you,
this long
pull the
one here,
flash drill
dude,
from
even
the
this
last
long
one?
one here, I think if it laid across, it could block off that stairway.
Yeah. What were you saying?
Were your references for these creatures Alaskan wildlife?
Yeah, actually, this is what I actually pulled it on. This
Not
actually,
Alaskan.
The average encounter with the
Yeah,
last.
this is what he was gonna go
Yeah.
hunting for if he didn't fall off the road.
and then just for your all your zone cognizance too, if you guys want to come out to where the camps are, I'm gonna set up your camp as well. And I would just
are
like
the
to.
oxes okay?
Oh yeah, I would like to say you heard two distinct kind of boom boom, and your creatures are.
My only thought
under
when
the
you said
ground.
that is if Afghan dies, so do the Goliath. Like there is that is a straight across transaction. Your society of people for my fucking mount.
Oh shit.
Dude, I will fly
Straight
over
across.
to wherever. I don't have your address, but I'm sure I can get some of your family members to give it to me, so I can fly over there.
We're gonna
for
play
killing
the
off Jake.
guys' night in Texas and eat
Yeah.
fucking.
I'm like, wow, what a great day to stroll around. Bing. What's up?
What a great time to hang out with friends and get us
What's up?
something.
So would I have known that bitch ass was resistant to fire?
I mean, I don't think so. I really don't because you haven't encountered anything with fire.
Yeah, that's.
Well,
I
what
was
what
thinking.
coloration are you? You're bronze, right?
I'm copper, I believe.
You're copper?
I'm copper, as well as all of my armor is adorned in sunset fire colors.
Okay, how about this? Make
leave it up to
make
fate and
make an
roll a
insight
die?
check. Make it no, make it. You're making an
I was
insight
like,
check.
I've never mentioned it, but I've
Yeah.
breathed by it.
No, no,
So-
hey, no mods though.
Implied
Hey,
he's
no
dragging.
mods. 10 and
I have
above.
nothing-
10 and
It's
above.
an insight.
No. It's an insight check, but we're leaving it up. 10 and above.
It's a
Then-
luck check, pretty much.
Yeah, you're just rolling. 10 and above, you know. 9 below, you don't.
All right.
Lie.
Oh, we're getting the live roll.
Oh, let's go. Let's go.
You said lie. Is that 11? Is that a 20? Can you even see it?
Yeah, which one? Girl, what are we looking at?
Either way, it's a 12.
Okay, I was close.
Okay,
All right.
okay, we're all just
I
like,
can't even read it.
I would.
There's like focus.
Yeah, it's not gonna focus. It's a $5 webcam.
What's going on there?
It's a $5 webcam.
We're back. Slightly tilted, but
I
back.
bought a $70 webcam that does the same thing, so you're doing pretty good.
I was about to say the same.
Mine
Mine
also
would
doesn't focus when I want it to.
Oh, hey, I grabbed all
But
3 of them.
what
Mine
Nice.
does. Mine ain't trash. Boom.
Is it just a Mac cam?
Yeah, so it's a $2,500 one.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, you can't tell shit.
He
on
said
that.
That's
yeah.
a quality webcam.
So, with
Thank
that,
you, thank
would
you.
I be able to redirect it
Ours
to
investment.
well, I would probably redirect it to Sir Denric.
Okay.
There's Henrik.
There's Senric.
Yes, you can probably infer that I am not fire resistant because I am a regular guy TM.
And we could test that out, man. We could actually. It is gonna
That's
test it out, bro.
There's
You're
only
gonna
one way
be
to
cooking
find
in
out.
that armor, dude.
Oh,
You're
heat
gonna
metal spell,
I
bro.
muted myself to say 1 moment, so 1 moment.
Nice. One moment.
They've got a huge brain.
Half heat metal? No, dude. It's one of my favorite spells, though. I love just walking up to people and being like,
Shaking
"The
your
armor is
head.
very uncomfortable." Anyways, I'm gonna leave now.
You can feel the clothes you're wearing,
Yeah.
and then they just start having a mental breakdown, taking mental fire damage.
I had it on my rogue cleric, so I'd just be because you're channel divinity that makes you invisible. You can cast a spell and be like good still.
Oh, yeah.
So I would just like literally go up to guards, make them have to strip their armor off if they were doing anything with heat metal, and then just keep going around invisible. Like, I'm fucking out of here, bro.
Whack.
So I would say y'all's 5/10 would be like.
How important is that to the?
Oh, it's pretty fucking important, man.
All right.
Hey, it's all gotta be to scale.
You think I fleshed out this entire ruins just to not add the y'all's tents at the end of it?
I mean, they're not done yet, so I guess not.
Oh. I love how they have like the nicest tents, you know, 2 campfires by all of their like sets of tents, bro. And we just have the rags.
The rags to Richie.
Yeah, ours.
Literally just one white cloth thrown over a stick, bro.
What was that right there?
Hey, wait, you watching the stream, bro? Don't worry about it.
What was that thing there?
Hey, bro, I got things I gotta, you know, yeah, still got a place. Anyway, so I will say this. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us, Eric. You have a wonderful night, bro. We're about to wrap up actually here as well.
Oh, night, brother.
Hey, Scott, are you telling me that my descriptors were not good enough for you to be in the fucking mindscape and be able to do theater of the mind for every single encounter? That's kind of toxic player.
Ascended.
That's toxic player
You said you
behavior.
hadn't ascended to master
Anyway,
the
so yeah, here the fuck we is, boys. I would say let me go ahead and annotate a couple of these things. So are any of your guys' things concentration?
That we just activated?
Yeah.
No, Fire Shield is actually not concentration.
Is protection from energy concentration?
It is.
It is? Okay.
What's the protection from energy? What level is protection from energy?
3rd level.
What?
Protection from energy is 3rd
What's
level.
it? Does it do anything aside from resistance?
It gives them
Not
resistance
sure.
to 1 damage type: acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder.
Oh, so it has more versatility. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because
but you
mine,
know,
what helps with mine is if someone attacks me or hits me, it does damage to them. But mine
Well,
also I
what
only
do
get to
bubbles
pick
do?
2 damage types.
Yeah.
okay, so
Yeah, it's not like poison. You know, I don't get to do that.
so with this, I will say, since we're gonna go ahead and cut it here a little bit early because we're not gonna get into this 9-hour combat tonight, let's go ahead and have everyone just roll initiative so we can just jump right in next session, and that way we can be good to go.
Oh,
I'll roll.
for sure.
Can I take a bonus action as well?
I would say, what is it?
Uh,
I take a
Magic
handful
stone.
of actions.
Can we
Magic
all take a
stone.
bonus action if he gets one?
Believe it or not, you have
Um,
many stones here.
Come on, man. Hey, we're all scared. We pissed ourselves. a
yeah,
little bit.
I would say, yeah, you guys can have a turn. What's up?
Okay, 1 minute. 1 minute. Just a turn of bonus action.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. Well, that's, yeah. I would say you already had an action, so I'm saying like you can like have a bonus action if need be.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Ooh, axe
can I cast Shield of Faith on myself?
as a bonus action?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just make sure you're getting rid of all your spell slots so you don't forget for next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
I did just that.
Shield of Faith
Good-
is on yourself, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm writing that down.
Just double check that is a
I'll make sure
bonus
this-
action.
That's what I'm doing too. Make sure what I'm about to do is bonus. It is not. So instead, I will Blade Sing from my bonus action.
Okay.
It is a
So-
bonus action to cast Shield of Faith. So yeah,
I
I'll,
figured it
I'll
was.
do that.
Okay,
Do
so I'm
myself-
gonna have. Let's see, Garmal will go ahead and roll.
Got everything but my Misty Step.
Garmal's
So we're
gonna
doing pretty
roll,
alright.
and then.
Oh, boys, by the way, I only have 2 first levels, 2 second levels, and 2 third
Ooh.
levels left.
I thankfully forgot until this session that Wizards have Arcane Recovery. So by the conservative and gracious nature of our DM letting you guys get your ass beat last session, I recovered all my spell slots, including Unseen Servant that I just cast. So I'm
Nice.
full. I'm full except for
Nice.
what I just did.
I got all my fighter stuff back, which is what I used the last combat, and
Yeah.
1 or 2 healing spells.
Bro, I got all my shit back. It's all on short rest, dude. I stay ready.
Bro, I should have fucking just said no short rest. Boo!
Dang, bro.
Oh,
Hey,
God.
thanks for
Hey,
the
you
short
did
rest.
something there.
Maybe
It makes
also
you
Dude,
feel
I expended
for-
half of my hit dice too. You said short rest, and I was like,
Did I
Yeah.
take any damage last session?
You did not know.
no.
Yeah, neither did I. So I got nothing from that short
What's
rest
up?
aside from.
I got
I mean,
smacked.
to be fair though,
I
y'all
feel
were
the
setting up camp and then just talking, so
Yeah.
it's
You're mad chilling for a while.
it
so
makes sense.
So I appreciate the short rest.
I appreciate the short rest.
we
thoroughly.
appreciate you.
I expended 4 of my hit dice. I was like, please.
Yeah, I
need
will
to get
say
out.
though, if we're gonna end the session, I'm ready to go about so I can get some other stuff done.
Did you
Well,
roll
hold
initiative?
on. I have to roll my 50 fucking initiative.
Oh, I also haven't rolled initiative yet.
Yeah, you're not ready to. You're not ready to do shit.
I'm ready to roll. I'm ready
This
to.
guy's got
Roll and
20
troll
characters
on.
on deck.
I'm also, it's my red die. Let me get my green die. It's been loyal.
Loyalty.
Loyalty of the
Wow,
green
that is some
die.
shit. All right.
Loyalties.
Oh fuck me. Oh, there. That die said yeet. All right.
That die said nah.
And then
Expensive loyalties.
Loyalties, fucking.
You know what this calls for?
Oh god.
Some steel.
oh, that dice went. Bye bye. Oh, okay. So, and that was an 18 plus. 22. And then, what is this? Shit. Okay, since. Okay. I think I finally got all the initiatives for all this shit down. Is everyone good? Everyone got their initiative?
Yep.
Okay, 20 to
I
25?
have not rolled it. I have not rolled it yet, actually.
20 to 25.
Natural 20.
Plus your dex, so what is that?
20.
Okay. So it's going to go.
You are not dexterous like me.
And then it's going to go.
I get a -1 to initiative.
Damn.
Hey, you got
15
-1
15
dex?
to 20?
18.
Oh, you're still good.
Yeah, it's still a good roll, but
15 to 20? 10 to 15?
13.
15.
Hold on. You said, what was it?
Bearden at 15, and then I believe Sir Denric at 12 or 13.
Sir Denric at 13.
Lucky
Mind
number
you.
13 for a sire. What's this for?
Okay.
I remember
Somehow your entire party is going in order, like together at the front of this.
let's go.
Hey, that means that if my first turn I get to cast a mirror image and be ready to get my ass beat.
Dude, I got 5 schmeckles. One of these boys eats me and murders me.
What's your health?
Freedom of movement.
52.
Dude, fuck you.
Or-
Shut the fuck up. How about that?
I will just relieve you of
I
all
am
your
sitting
snuffles
here
once you die.
crispy and fully healed at 40.
Hey man, it's not my problem you made bad bad life choices when it came to
I
being
have bad life
healthy.
choices for
Literal
trolling
bad
to
life
the
choices.
countryside with you, your lot.
That's
Literal
why,
bad
uh,
life choices.
Dipped into fighter for a couple levels. I was like, for the love of
Yeah.
everything holy, I need extra HP, man.
If I was going to do dip, I probably would have done level 5 assassin rogue, level 3 gloom stalker ranger is what I would have done, and I just wasn't gonna do it here. I didn't want to.
Bro.
I wasn't gonna do it here.
I was gonna do College of Swords level 5,
Hard.
3 levels into Swashbuckler Road. So if anything's,
Pretty tight.
I
That's
literally
pretty
just get
tight.
zigzag all the time.
Oh, that'd be quite the.
But then he said, "Please don't min max." And I went, "Okay." And so I just flipped through my books, and I was like, "Cleric fighter, this works for me."
And you min-maxed slightly less.
I didn't min
Yeah.
max at all. I don't know what you mean.
I'm just like, here's a character concept. I like the idea. That's kind of what I went. Because I didn't build a character for this campaign. I built a character that sounded interesting to me, which is like, oh, this is like the only character that I've heard of that isn't like super min-maxy. That's like a sword-wielding spellcaster properly.
Okay. Now with
Yeah.
11 people / groups in the initiative count later,
Fucking god.
we I think we are ready
This is
to
gonna be
go.
a slog.
Excluding us?
No, including you.
Okay.
That takes care
This
of
is going to be a war of attrition.
War of Division, dude. Divide them numbers, dude.
Which one is
Okay.
Garmal?
That-
Is he that Conan
Fucking
the
rock
Barbarian
me.
looking guy right
I
next to
think
me?
he's
Yeah.
Conan right there.
Yeah, that's him.
Can you not scale him up?
Is that
ever
Hero
slightly?
Forge or is that Tailspire?
That's Tailspire.
Hell yeah, dude.
Are you not able to
Dude.
even like slightly
That's
scale them?
just.
No,
killer, bro.
you literally can just go from 1x1 to 2x2. So it's either this or fucking
that's-
Morello.
That's lame.
Why didn't you make Goliaths in Hero Forge?
It's costs money, dude. Like you don't want to waste tokens when you don't gotta waste tokens.
I mean, to be fair, I also have another week to do this, so we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, we will go ahead and call that good for tonight's session. We will go ahead and,
I would consider it an
let
honor.
this combat ensue the over the next week. Next week on Thursday, same time, we will go ahead and continue this, and we'll go and see where this combat leads. This should be intense, but I figured not having a 6-hour long episode tonight would be probably beneficial for everyone and everyone's health. So,
You say that now.
Yeah, that's a good call.
all right, well, but
talking words from the man with all the fucking hits.
How many
but
points do you have, Zahir?
55.
all right, but with
Yeah,
that.
55.
Hold
Fuck.
All right, so with that, we will go ahead and end tonight. We appreciate everyone who tuned in and hung out with us. Always a pleasure to have y'all with us, and we will go ahead and see you
next
same
time.
time next week to see what this combat with these big bad insects will entail. But until then, y'all have a wonderful night, and we'll see you next time.
Big bad evil bugs.
Big, bad, evil.